Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales. Chapter 394. The alchemy room was very large, about 200 to 300 meters. There was a separate alchemy room, cultivation room, and lounge. And it was very neat and clean. But for the cultivation room and lounge, Qin Feiyang turned a blind eye to them and went straight into the alchemy room. The first thing he saw was an alchemy furnace. That alchemy furnace was dark green all over, with a giant python carved on it. And the surface of the alchemy furnace flickered with rays of dazzling treasure light. Qin Feiyang's eyes lit up. The alchemy furnace that would be placed here should be at least a 5th-grade alchemy furnace. If he could take it for himself, but thinking of this, he sighed deeply again. Such a precious alchemy furnace, the pagoda master would definitely not let him take it away. Then he bit his finger, a drop of blood dripped on the alchemy furnace. 1st and 2nd-grade alchemy furnaces could be used without having to recognize the owner. But 3rd-grade and above alchemy furnaces required a drop of blood to recognize the owner and sign a blood contract before they could be used freely. The blood was quickly absorbed by the alchemy furnace. The alchemy furnace was also suffused with a faint blood light. When the blood light faded and the blood contract was formed, a piece of information also entered Qin Feiyang's mind. 6th-grade alchemy furnace, flying snake cauldron. Qin Feiyang's spirit was lifted. It was actually a 6th-grade alchemy furnace. His breathing also became rapid. The desire that had been suppressed with great difficulty once again emerged uncontrollably. And it was even more intense than before. But when he thought of the pagoda master's strength, it was like a wake-up call and he quickly calmed down. After pondering for a moment, he pressed the button on the stone platform. A purple flame, like a volcanic eruption, spewed out. The temperature in the alchemy room also rose rapidly, like a big furnace. Qin Feiyang's mind moved, mental force emerged, and rushed towards the alchemy fire. The alchemy fire in the first alchemy room was dozens of times higher quality than the alchemy fire on the first floor of the Pill Pagoda. It took him a full 2 days to successfully fuse it. Then he took out 10 sets of medicinal herbs for healing pills. The alchemy fire here was also more difficult to control than the alchemy fire on the first floor. The 10 sets of medicinal herbs were all scrapped one after another. And he found controlling the heavenly thunder flame consumed more mental force than controlling the nether devil flame. But it was also because of this that he slowly familiarized himself with the heavenly thunder flames, and could finally retract and release them freely. After resting for a while, he took out a set of medicinal ingredients for the healing pill and began to refine it. Every step was done in an orderly manner without the slightest mistake. 100 breaths later, the healing pill was finally ready. Qin Feiyang caught it in his heart and hurriedly looked down. The pill veins shone brightly like the sun, illuminating the entire alchemy room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He carefully counted and discovered to his pleasant surprise that there were actually 5 pill marks. Furthermore, every single elixir vein emitted an equally resplendent radiance. 5. Qin Feiyang was so excited that his arms were trembling. As long as he could obtain the flame of heavenly thunder and the soaring serpent cauldron, even in the imperial capital, he would have the capital to look down on everything. Putting down the healing pills, he took out 100 sets of bone-replenishing pills, 100 sets of body-tempering pills, 100 sets of chi-gathering pills, and 100 sets of battle chi pills. Refining these pills was for no other reason than to be more familiar with the flame of heavenly thunder. In this way, when refining the potential pill and Juku yellow dragon pill, the failure rate could be reduced. After spending half a day, he finally refined all the medicinal ingredients into pills. However, the success rate was only 50%. This was obviously not enough. He simply entered the ancient castle and asked Fatso for 10,000 sets of chi-gathering pills and 100,000 sets of battle chi pills, and continued to refine. Because the medicinal ingredients for the potential pill and Juku yellow dragon pill were too precious, even if it was just a waste of one stock, his heart would ache. So, without 100% confidence, he would not refine it. Chi-gathering pills and battle chi pills were also useful, so he might as well take the opportunity to refine more. Especially the battle chi pills. Next. Qin Feiyang did not go out of the door and stayed in the alchemy room all day. When his mental strength was exhausted, he would continue to refine after recovering. Mu Shui came to find him a few times. But every time, she returned empty-handed. The pagoda master did not appear again. As for the other people's assessment, it had long ended. Those who successfully entered the pill pagoda, including Qin Feiyang and the other two, were only a mere 50 people. Out of 10,000 people, only 50 were left. This elimination rate was even crueler than imagined. But there was no doubt. Those who could successfully enter the pill pagoda were all talents with a lot of room for plasticity. In the future, they would definitely have extraordinary achievements in alchemy. But the premise was that they did not die prematurely. And as time passed day by day, Qin Feiyang became more and more familiar with the heavenly thunder flame. Whether it was the success rate or the speed of refining pills, they were also improving day by day. Now, he could refine a pill every 20 breaths. Time flew by. On this day, Qin Feiyang, who was refining pills, suddenly felt a sharp pain in his heart. In a daze, the medicinal ingredients in the furnace were instantly wasted, accompanied by a burst of black smoke, turning into black ash. He hurriedly took out the jade bottle and drank a drop of transparent liquid. The sharp pain disappeared. But Qin Feiyang fell silent. The sharp pain caused by his heart made him think of a very cruel question. All along, he had wanted to take the heavenly thunder flame for himself. But he neglected one person. This person was the ugly old woman who forced him to come to the Forgotten Land. Even if he could snatch the heavenly thunder flame, when he left the Forgotten Land, he would give it to the ugly old woman. In other words, the heavenly thunder flame had no share at all. Unless he stayed in the Forgotten Land for the rest of his life. But this was simply unrealistic. Not to mention that he had not yet avenged his great hatred, the black fiend poison did not allow him to stay in the Forgotten Land forever. What do I have to do to get rid of the black fiend poison? Qin Feiyang frowned. As long as he could get rid of the black fiend poison, he would not be afraid of the ugly old woman's threat. That's right. Don't I have a cheap master now? She's so strong, why don't I ask her, maybe she has a way. With this thought, Qin Feiyang stood up straight and looked at the two qiankuan bags on the stone platform, his eyes full of smiles. The black fiend poison acted up, indicating that another month had passed. He had already refined 10,000 sets of chi-gathering pills medicinal ingredients, and a total of more than 500 sets of medicinal ingredients were wasted. And when he was refining the battle chi pill, 100,000 sets of medicinal ingredients, only 100 sets of medicinal ingredients were wasted. Such a failure rate was almost negligible. After refining the remaining dozen or so sets of battle chi pills medicinal ingredients, Qin Feiyang took the two qiankuan bags and entered the castle. Seeing Qin Feiyang appear, Wolf King immediately stood up and said angrily, "Why did you only come in now? Quickly refine a potential pill for your brother." Qin Feiyang's eyes had a trace of surprise, and he asked, "You broke through?" "Nonsense. It's already been 2 months, if I don't break through, would I still be the peerless wolf god?" Wolf King said angrily, but his eyes were full of pride. So fast? Qin Feiyang was stunned. But thinking about it carefully, it had indeed been 2 months since Wolf King went into seclusion. He thought for a moment, then laughed, don't be anxious, even if I refine a potential pill for you now, no one will use their pressure to help you. Wolf King said, don't you have a master? Are you an idiot? If she finds out about the potential pill, forget about snatching the heavenly thunder flame, I might not even be able to keep my life. Qin Feiyang glared at Wolf King in annoyance, took out a Qianquan bag, and handed it over to Lu Hong. There are more than 9,000 qi-gathering pills here, and they all have 5 pill veins. It should be enough for you to recover to the War King realm. After Lu Hong took the Qianquan bag, Qin Feiyang threw the Qianquan bag containing the battle qi pills to Fatso. You can even refine a pill with 5 pill veins. Boss, why don't you go to heaven? When we get back to the city, the eyes of those old fogies from the Lu clan and the Dong clan will pop out when they see these pills. Fatty took out a battle qi pill and toyed with it as he spoke in a mocking tone. After 2 months of seclusion, Fatso had also broken through to the 6-star Battle King realm, and was working hard to break through to the 7-star Battle King realm. As for the pangolin, it had also improved a little, but it was still stuck at the 4-star Battle King realm. This made it want to go crazy, but it also felt helpless. Don't think too much, we'll talk about the future in the future. Give me the ingredients for the potential pill, and Juku Yellow Dragon pill. I want to refine all of them first. Qin Feiyang said, his eyes shining. It was better to be safe than sorry. If the heavenly thunder flame was really snatched away by the ugly old woman, he wouldn't have wasted his efforts. Fatso took out a Qianquan pouch and threw it to Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang grabbed the Qianquan pouch and was about to leave when he suddenly said, have you sorted out the ingredients you looted from the exchange pavilion's warehouse? Not yet. Fatso shook his head. Qin Feiyang said, then don't be in a hurry to go into seclusion. Help me sort them out first. The pangolin said angrily, are you kidding? How long will it take to sort out so many ingredients? I have to cultivate, I don't have time. Wolf King glared and shouted, do you still want the potential pill? Stop talking nonsense and get to work. That's right, how can there be such a thing as a free lunch in this world? Fatso said disdainfully. Actually, it's not troublesome. These ingredients were already categorized when they were in the warehouse, so it's easy to sort them out. Qin Feiyang smiled and appeared in the alchemy room again, starting to refine the potential pill. The more patterns the potential pill had, the easier it would be to open the door of potential. After controlling the fire and refining a few potential pills, Qin Feiyang slowly became familiar with the process. A total of 230 sets of ingredients for the potential pill were all refined in 4 hours. Not a single set was wasted. Next, he began to refine the potential pill and the Juku Yellow Dragon pill. Back then, with the help of Ren Wuxuang, he obtained a total of 52 sets of ingredients for the potential pill and 61 sets of ingredients for the Juku Yellow Dragon pill. Before Ren Wuxuang went to the inner palace, he gave Ren Wuxuang 2 potential pills and 1 Juku Yellow Dragon pill. As such, there were still 50 sets of potential pills left. There were still 60 sets of Juku Yellow Dragon pills left. After spending 2 hours, all of them were refined. The potential pill was blood red in color, as if it was condensed from blood, emitting a strange fragrance. The Juku Yellow Dragon pill was earthy yellow in color. At first glance, it looked like a mud ball, but the surface was round and flawless. Qin Feiyang grabbed a Juku Yellow Dragon pill, his eyes shining brightly. Chapter 395. He really wanted to take one right now. It would definitely allow him to directly step into the War Emperor realm. But this thought was suppressed by him in the end. It was better to wait until he finished copying the battle formula and broke through to the War Emperor realm before taking it. At that time, he had stepped into the 5-star War Emperor, 6-star War Emperor in one go. This kind of leap in breakthrough, just thinking about it made him excited. After using 3 Qianquan bags to store the 3 types of pills, Qin Feiyang once again entered the castle. Fatso and the others were still counting. Although they were categorized in the warehouse, the number was too large. It wasn't that easy to sort them out. After placing the 3 Qianquan bags on the counter, Qin Feiyang left the castle and walked out of the alchemy room. When he saw the situation in the hall outside, he couldn't help but be stunned. He remembered that when he first came here, there was nothing in the hall. But now, there was a tea table made of jade placed against the wall. Beside the tea table, there were 3 chairs covered with a layer of snow-white mink fur. At this moment, Mu Qing and his sister were sitting on the chairs, leisurely sipping tea. Mu Qing glanced at him and said with a faint smile, "You're finally willing to come out. Big brother Su, you've been in the pill tower for a month, and this is the first time you've walked out of the alchemy room." Mu Shui also put down her teacup and stood up with a smile. Qin Feiyang smiled and said, "You guys are living quite comfortably. We call this a balance between work and rest. Unlike you, who only knows how to cultivate in seclusion all day and refine pills. How boring. Do you want a cup? This is the tea from my hometown. It tastes pretty good." Mu Qing raised the teapot and teacup in his hand. "Forget it, I still have something to look for the pagoda master." Qin Feiyang smiled and walked to the front of the unnumbered stone door. He stretched out his hand and gently knocked. Seeing this, Mu Qing and his sister looked at each other, and a light flashed in the depths of their eyes. The stone door opened silently. Qin Feiyang glanced at the layout inside. It was no different from the number 1 alchemy room. There were independent alchemy rooms, resting rooms, and cultivation rooms. However, it was several times bigger than alchemy room 1. At this moment, the tower master was sitting cross-legged on a praying mat in the cultivation room. He still wore an exquisite mask on his face. She opened her eyes, revealing a pair of deep, dark eyes. She said calmly, "Come in." Qin Feiyang walked in. The pagoda master asked, "Why are you looking for me?" Qin Feiyang walked to the door of the cultivation room. After hesitating for a moment, he cupped his hands and said, "Junior has been poisoned by a strange poison. I would like to ask Senior to take a look and see if there is any way to cure it." "Strange poison?" The pagoda master was stunned for a moment before he said indifferently, "Let's talk about the strange poison later. Let me ask you first. Now that you are my disciple, why do you still call me Senior?" If it were any other youngster, they would have already addressed him as Master. However, this kid had an unwilling look on his face. Furthermore, he had been in the pill pagoda for so long, yet he only came to find her now. It seemed that in his eyes, her master was just a decoration. Qin Feiyang was a little stunned. He didn't expect this woman to ask such a question. He thought for a moment, then cupped his hands and said, "To tell Senior the truth, Junior is used to being alone. I'm not used to being restrained." The pagoda master frowned and said, "I don't seem to have restrained you." Qin Feiyang said, "Indeed, you don't now, but can you guarantee that you won't in the future?" "Yeah." The pagoda master was surprised. Since the establishment of the pill pagoda, this was the first time someone dared to question her. Her eyes flashed slightly, and said, "Aren't you afraid that I will drive you out of the pill pagoda after hearing this?" Qin Feiyang laughed, "Senior, as the master of the pill pagoda, you shouldn't be so narrow-minded, right?" "Interesting." The pagoda master muttered secretly, "You will leave in the future anyway, so it's up to you. Now tell me, what kind of poison are you poisoned with?" Qin Feiyang said, "Black fiend poison." "Black fiend poison?" The pagoda master lowered his head and pondered for a moment before asking, "What are its characteristics?" "The black fiend poison is made from 99 kinds of poisons and pills. Once taken, it will fuse with the heart. When the poison takes effect, the heart will feel a sharp pain. Now, I have to take an antidote every month. But this antidote can only delay the effect, it can't eliminate it. Qin Feiyang said. 99 kinds? The pagoda master was quite surprised, and said, "Show me the antidote." Qin Feiyang hurriedly took out the jade bottle and handed it over with both hands, his eyes full of expectation. The pagoda master grabbed the jade bottle, poured out a drop of transparent liquid, and carefully observed for a moment. Then, she put it on the tip of her nose and sniffed. Finally, she put it to her mouth and tasted it. Amazing! At that moment, she was shocked. What's wrong? Qin Feiyang's eyelids twitched. This bottle of antidote is made from 33 kinds of pollen and 33 kinds of butterfly saliva. But after special processing, you can't smell the fragrance of the flowers. This kind of antidote is not something that ordinary people can refine. The pagoda master said. Pollen? Qin Feiyang frowned. No wonder there were all kinds of flowers and butterflies in the Butterfly Valley. It turned out that these were all the antidotes. Senior, as long as you collect 99 kinds of pollen, 99 kinds of butterfly saliva can cure the black fiend poison? Qin Feiyang asked. How can it be so simple? To make the antidote, you need to know the order and steps. If the order and steps are wrong, not only can it not be detoxified, but it will also become highly toxic. Only the person who made the black fiend poison can make the antidote. The pagoda master said. Qin Feiyang's eyes were suddenly full of disappointment. It seemed that the heavenly thunder flame had to be handed over to the sloppy old woman. But just as Qin Feiyang was about to despair, the pagoda master said again, "But, however." She just said these two words and then fell silent again. Senior, but what? As long as it can eradicate the black fiend poison, I am willing to do anything. Qin Feiyang hurriedly said. The pagoda master said, "First tell me, why are you poisoned?" Qin Feiyang's heart trembled. In his mind, countless thoughts flashed in an instant. Suddenly, his heart moved, and he said helplessly, "The poisoning is also related to the acceptance of a disciple." What do you mean? The pagoda master was puzzled. In the past, this junior met an old witch during one of my training. She took a fancy to Junior's talent and insisted that Junior be her disciple. Junior didn't want to, so she forced Junior to take the black fiend poison. And she also made a 5-year agreement with Junior. If Junior can eradicate the black fiend poison by himself within 5 years, she will let Junior go. But if it can't be eradicated, then go and be her disciple. Qin Feiyang said with a depressed face. The pagoda master was stunned and said, "You don't want to be someone else's disciple?" The old witch in this boy's mouth could make such a poison, which meant that her strength must be very strong. To be the disciple of such a strong person, one should feel very happy. But this kid would rather be poisoned than agree to it. She really wanted to open Qin Feiyang's head to see what was inside. Junior likes to be free and unrestrained, and I prefer to rely on myself for everything. If I find a strong master, sooner or later, I will become lazy. Junior doesn't like this feeling. Qin Feiyang shook his head and said. The pagoda master looked at him in a daze. Qin Feiyang's answer made her very satisfied. This kind of young man who didn't want to rely on anyone was basically extinct now. It was no wonder that he had such strength at such a young age. His mind was also so flexible. The pagoda master asked, "How old are you now?" Qin Feiyang said, 18. Only 18. The pagoda master was shocked and asked calmly, "You have suffered a lot along the way, right?" "I have tasted all the joys and sorrows, but the harvest is also a lot. After all, the effort and the harvest are proportional." Qin Feiyang said with a faint smile. Good temperament. The pagoda master nodded. After a conversation, even she couldn't help but have the idea of forcibly taking Qin Feiyang as a disciple. Such an outstanding young man, she really couldn't bear to let him go. However, she suppressed this thought. Some things couldn't be forced. Otherwise, it would be counterproductive. Qin Feiyang said nervously, "Senior, do you have a way to detoxify the black evil poison?" "Yes." The pagoda master nodded. Qin Feiyang was overjoyed. The pagoda master said, "I just thought about it, a detoxification pill with more than 5 elixir patterns should be able to directly eradicate the poison in your body." "What?" Qin Feiyang was stunned. It was that simple? Ordinary detoxification pills definitely won't work. But a detoxification pill with 5 elixir patterns is very effective. But I can only refine a detoxification pill with 4 elixir patterns now. The pagoda master frowned slightly. "Thank you, Senior, for your guidance. Junior will tell you first." Qin Feiyang bowed and thanked, then turned around and ran out in a hurry. The pagoda master couldn't refine a detoxification pill with 5 elixir patterns, but he could. "Hurry up and give it a try." Seeing Qin Feiyang run out, Mu Qing smiled and said, "Brother Su, come over and let's have a chat." "Let's talk later." Qin Feiyang said without looking back and ran into the number 1 alchemy room. What is this guy doing in such a hurry? The brother and sister looked at each other, their faces full of doubts. Alchemy room. Qin Feiyang took out a few sets of herbs for the detoxification pill and stared at the soaring serpent cauldron, his eyes shining. Then he exhaled, calmed down, and began to refine pills. But his heart couldn't calm down at all. Since he was poisoned by the black evil poison, his heart had been tense. 7 months after coming to the Forgotten Land, he had been tense for 7 months. Now that there was finally hope to remove it, one could imagine how excited he was. In the end, after wasting 5 sets of herbs, he finally refined a detoxification pill. The 5 elixir patterns shone brightly and dazzlingly. However, at this moment, he looked at the detoxification pill, but hesitated. Because the pagoda master had said very clearly that it should be possible. He didn't say that it would definitely work. He was afraid of being happy for nothing. Even if it doesn't succeed, I can think of other ways. Finally, Qin Feiyang gritted his teeth and threw the detoxification pill into his mouth. Then he hurriedly sank his mind into his body. The pill melted in his mouth. An extremely majestic energy, like a wave, rolled towards his limbs and bones. Chapter 396. The heart was the most important part of the human body. It was also the most vulnerable part. Being poisoned to the heart was equivalent to taking half a step into the gates of hell. Qin Feiyang had had enough of the days of being on edge. Please, it must succeed, he prayed silently in his heart. When the energy of the healing pill poured into the heart, it wrapped around the heart. At the same time, the energy that was rushing to other places also seemed to have found a target and rushed to the heart. Qin Feiyang could clearly feel that the energy was quickly seeping into the heart. It was at this time. A sharp pain came from the heart and swept through the whole body in an instant. Caught off guard, Qin Feiyang lay on the ground, his face pale with pain and cold sweat. He felt that at this moment, there was a sharp thorn that was gradually being pulled out of his heart. That kind of pain almost suffocated him. And it was getting stronger and stronger. Qin Feiyang simply sat cross-legged on the ground, gritted his teeth, and looked inside his heart. Then, a head emerged from the black stream of qi from the heart. The black airflow was the poison of the black fiend. And the energy of the healing pill also gathered in the heart and constantly seeped inside. The poison of the black fiend was forced out little by little. Seeing this situation, Qin Feiyang couldn't help but be excited. This meant that it was really useful. Time passed by breath. About 100 breaths later. Puff! He spat out a mouthful of black blood. His pale face also quickly climbed up with a touch of blood. This meant that the poison of the black fiend was finally eliminated. The sharp pain also disappeared. Swish! He suddenly got up. His eyes were as bright as the moon. His whole mental state was unprecedentedly good. There was still more than half of the energy of the detoxification pill left, constantly seeping into the heart and eliminating the remaining poison in the heart. A moment later. All the toxins had finally been completely removed. I'm free. Qin Feiyang looked inside his heart and clenched his hands together. Huh, old witch, let's see how you can control me now. He couldn't help but laugh. The flame of heavenly thunder belonged to him. Wiping the blood from the corner of his mouth, Qin Feiyang opened the stone door and strode out. What are you doing inside? Why are you sweating? Mu Qin and her brother looked at him in confusion. Qin Feiyang smiled brilliantly. He walked up to the pagoda master's door and knocked. The stone door quickly opened. Qin Feiyang walked in and stood at the door of the cultivation room. He smiled and said, I've finally gotten rid of the problem in my heart. Senior, thank you. The pagoda master stared blankly and said in surprise, in that case, you can refine medicinal pills with 5 pill veins? Qin Feiyang nodded. The pagoda master was secretly speechless. This kid's alchemy talent was indeed extraordinary. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed. He cupped his hands and said, Senior, this junior has a presumptuous request. The pagoda master said, Speak. Qin Feiyang smiled and said, The flame of heavenly thunder is famous throughout the world. I wonder if this junior has the honor of seeing its true appearance? The pagoda master thought for a moment and nodded. Sure. Qin Feiyang was stunned. So straightforward. The pagoda master continued, but the prerequisite is that you have to call this seat master. Qin Feiyang's face twitched. Calling master and having a chance to obtain the flame of heavenly thunder, this deal was also quite worth it. But for some reason, he just could not call out. Perhaps in his subconscious mind, no one was qualified to be his master. I can only think of other ways. Qin Feiyang muttered secretly. If there was really no other way, he would simply give up. Anyway, there was no black fiend poison bothering him now. It was also not a must to snatch the flame of heavenly thunder. Moreover, he already snatched enough pill fire now. As long as the blood contract was erased, it could let the netherworld devil flame directly evolve to grade 4. Although the grade 4 netherworld devil flame could not compare to the flame of heavenly thunder, one had to know that the netherworld devil flame could be upgraded. But the flame of heavenly thunder could not be upgraded. Therefore, to really calculate, the value of the netherworld devil flame was much higher than the flame of heavenly thunder. Seeing Qin Feiyang's expression, the pagoda master could not help but frown, and said, You really don't want to be this seat's disciple? Qin Feiyang did not answer, cupped his hands and said, Senior, this junior will take his leave first. The pagoda master nodded. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly, turned around and walked towards the stone door. Wait. Suddenly. The pagoda master stopped him again. Qin Feiyang stopped, turned around, and said, Senior, do you have any other instructions? The pagoda master got up and said, Forget it, I'll let you take a look and satisfy your curiosity. Qin Feiyang was taken aback, and said happily, Thank you, Senior. The pagoda master walked out of the cultivation room and went straight into the alchemy room. Qin Feiyang hurriedly followed in. This alchemy room was more than 200 meters in size. On the stone platform for alchemy, there was no pill furnace, not a speck of dust. It was enough to show that this woman did not often refine pills. Qin Feiyang looked around, and his gaze suddenly locked onto a corner on the left. In that corner, there was a tightly shut stone door. The pagoda master entered the alchemy room and directly walked to the front of the stone door, saying, "The heavenly thunder flame is inside." Qin Feiyang's eyes lit up. Buzz! The pagoda master's delicate body trembled, and a stream of battle qi emerged, condensing into a battle qi barrier. Next, she cut her arm, and with a wave of her arm, a drop of blood flew towards the stone door. When the blood landed on the stone door immediately bloomed with rays of light. Following closely, it was activated silently. A shocking heatwave immediately surged out. At the same time, there were also waves of purple flames that continued to surge out from the door. Despite the isolation of the battle qi barrier, Qin Feiyang could still feel an astonishing heat enveloping him. If not for the pagoda master's battle qi barrier, without any luck, he would have been burned to ashes in an instant. Who? Taking a deep breath and calming down the shock in his heart, Qin Feiyang took a step to the side and looked inside. What entered his line of sight was a sea of purple flames. Tongues of fire spewed out, waves of fire surged. Strands of lightning power were like small snakes, darting around in the sea of fire. But because the flames were too strong, he couldn't see where the heavenly thunder flame was. If you want to see the true appearance of the heavenly thunder flame, you must first stop the recovery of the heavenly thunder flame. But not now. Right now, there are many people refining pills. If you suddenly stop the recovery, it will affect them. Wait until 2 years later, when everyone leaves the pill pagoda, I can let you see its true appearance. The pagoda master said. Junior understands. Qin Feiyang nodded. The pagoda master waved her hand, closed the stone door, and said indifferently, "Think about it again. If you become my disciple, there will be benefits for you. Junior will seriously consider it. By the way, Senior, can Junior go out for a while?" Qin Feiyang asked. Go out for what? The pagoda master looked at him suspiciously. Qin Feiyang laughed, "Isn't this because the poison has been eradicated? I want to go out and celebrate." The pagoda master pondered for a moment, then said, "It seems like you don't need my guidance, so do as you wish." "Thank you, pagoda master." Qin Feiyang cupped his hands and said. Next. He did not stay any longer and returned to Alchemy Room 1. After closing the stone door, he immediately entered the castle. Fatso immediately asked, "Boss, how is it? Is there a chance?" Qin Feiyang pondered for a moment, then said, "I have decided to give up on snatching the heavenly thunder flame." "What?" Fatso and the others looked at each other in dismay. 3 reasons. Firstly, that stone door requires the blood of the pagoda master to open. The pagoda master is an expert of the war master realm, and might even surpass the war master. It's simply unrealistic to obtain blood from her body. Secondly, the heavenly thunder flame is currently in a state of recovery. I've just experienced it myself. It's extremely terrifying. Even if we're lucky enough to obtain the pagoda master's blood and open the stone door, we won't be able to get close to the heavenly thunder flame. Thirdly, I can't afford to wait for 2 years. I'm already 18 years old, and I'll be 20 in 2 years. Before I turn 20, I must enter the imperial capital. Qin Feiyang said in a deep voice. Fatso, Lu Hong, Wolf King, and the pangolin all fell silent. A moment later, Lu Hong nodded, "I agree, with our current conditions, to snatch the heavenly thunder flame, it is indeed not mature." Fatso frowned, "But how are we going to explain it to that old witch?" Qin Feiyang said, "We'll talk about it after we leave the Forgotten Land." "Alright, since we've already gotten a lot of benefits, let's leave then." Wolf King grinned. Fatso and Lu Hong also laughed. "What are you laughing at?" Qin Feiyang was puzzled. "Boss, we've sorted out all the herbs. From the warehouse of the trading pavilion, including the herbs of the Lu tribe and the He tribe, we've obtained a total of 330 sets of red fire glaze pill herbs. The ingredients for the potential pill, 210 sets. Potential pill herbs, 42 sets. 9 Chu yellow dragon pill herbs, 39 sets. As for the other medicinal herbs, pills, and gold coins, they had yet to be counted. If we include the third-grade alchemy fire of the 3 super tribes, it's even more amazing. The wealth we have now is probably enough to buy the entire spirit state. Fatso was beaming with joy, his saliva flying everywhere. So much. Qin Feiyang was dumbfounded. This was completely beyond his expectations. Thinking back to when he was in Iron Ox Town, a gold coin was a considerable amount of wealth for him. But how long has it been? 3 years. In just 3 years, the wealth he possessed was unparalleled. One had to know that he was only 18 years old now. When others were 18 years old, they were still reaching for their family. But he relied on his own hard work to accumulate such an astonishing foundation. Now, he had the capital to be proud. Wolf King rolled his eyes and said, "Little Qin Zi, since we can't get the flame of heavenly thunder, let's go crazy again before we leave." Qin Feiyang was stunned and asked, "How?" Fatso, Lu Hong, and the pangolin also looked at it suspiciously. Wolf King said, "Loot the treasures of the 3 super tribes." Damn, isn't this too crazy? Fatso's eyes widened and he laughed loudly. But Fat Lord likes it, so it's decided happily. Qin Feiyang frowned. Wolf King said, "What? Are you afraid?" "I'm not afraid. I'm just thinking that the treasures of the 3 super tribes might not be as much as the warehouse of the trading pavilion." Qin Feiyang said. "How is that possible?" Wolf King rolled his eyes at him. Chapter 397. What do you mean? Wolf King asked. Although the strength of the Meng family is not as good as the 3 super tribes, the Meng family has an innate advantage. They dominate the area, and no one will compete with them. No matter who gets the medicinal herbs, they will eventually fall into the hands of the Meng family. Fatso explained. And here, in addition to the 3 super tribes, there were countless other tribes of various sizes. If each tribe divided a little, there would naturally not be many medicinal herbs. Of course. The resources in this area of Sky Thunder City were richer than those in White Fox City. It was also worth a risk. A super tribe can't compare. But the treasures of the 3 super tribes added together will definitely not be too bad. In a word, do you want to do it or not? Wolf King shouted in high spirits. Nonsense, of course we'll do it. Fatso roared. Lu Hong looked at Fatso and Wolf King, shook her head and smiled. Anyway, I can't help much, do as you like. This king doesn't care either. The pangolin followed. Now, only Qin Feiyang had not expressed his opinion. Everyone looked at him, waiting for his decision. Because only his words were useful. Qin Feiyang glanced at the 2 men and 2 beasts, made up his mind, and nodded, "Okay, let's go crazy again." Fatso and Wolf King immediately cheered. Next. Several people began to discuss. Soon. Qin Feiyang left the castle alone and walked into the alchemy room, staring at the moaning snake cauldron. "Do you want to take it away or not?" He hesitated. It's better not to anger the pagoda master, so as to avoid complications. Finally. He resolutely erased the blood contract of the moaning snake cauldron and turned to walk out of the alchemy room. First. He was a person who knew how to repay kindness. The pagoda master had saved him, so he could not do such a thing. Second. The pagoda master was too strong. If he angered her, he would definitely suffer. Qin Feiyang walked out of the alchemy room and walked towards the stairs. "Brother Su, what are you doing?" Seeing this, Mu Qing and her brother looked at him in confusion. "I need to go out for a while," Qin Feiyang said without looking back. Then, he walked down the stairs. No matter what purpose Mu Qing and her sister had, it had nothing to do with him now. The Pill Pagoda had a total of 10 levels. Other than the top floor, the other 9 floors each had 10 alchemy rooms. Qin Feiyang arrived at the 9th floor. He glanced at the 10 stone doors and frowned. Were Luo Yi and the other 2 here? He pondered for a moment. He walked in front of a stone door and knocked on it forcefully. Very soon, the stone door opened. A strange face entered Qin Feiyang's sight. This person was about 18 or 19 years old and was about 1.7 meters tall. He looked very ordinary and had a black mole the size of a mung bean on his chin. Qin Feiyang had never seen him before. However, this person knew Qin Feiyang. When he saw Qin Feiyang come to his door, he was stunned for a moment before he was overjoyed. "Senior brother Su, why are you here? What's the matter? By the way, let me introduce myself. My name is Su Shan. I'm from the Su tribe. Please take care of me in the future, senior brother Su." Su Shan was very excited, his saliva flying. The person in front of him was an alchemy monster with a level 20 spiritual force. He was also the last disciple of the Pagoda Master. He actually took the initiative to come to him. Was he going to be lucky? The Su tribe? Qin Feiyang was stunned. Why did it sound familiar? Right. Wasn't the second-grade alchemy fire that Wolf King and Fatso snatched from the Su tribe? It was really fate. His eyes flashed and he said with a smile, "Do you know where Luo Yi and the other 2 are?" Su Shan nodded and said, "I know, they're next door." Qin Feiyang said in surprise, "So, you're also a level 10 spiritual force?" Su Shan laughed dryly and said, "I don't have this talent. I'm only a level 9 spiritual force." "That's not bad." Qin Feiyang nodded and said with a faint smile, "Take me to them." "Okay." Su Shan walked out of the alchemy room and knocked on the 3 stone doors one after another. Not long after, the stone doors opened one after another. Luo Yi, Shi Yun, and Yan Shi stood at the door respectively. When they saw Qin Feiyang, they couldn't help but frown. Luo Yi said angrily, "What are you doing here?" "To talk to you guys." Qin Feiyang smiled faintly, reached out and pushed Luo Yi away, and walked into Luo Yi's alchemy room. Luo Yi raised his eyebrows and shouted, "This is my alchemy room. What right do you have to barge in? Get out of here immediately." Qin Feiyang said lightly, "You should know my current identity. I can make you get out of the Pill Pagoda with one word." Luo Yi's gaze trembled. Yes. This person was now the last disciple of the Pagoda Master. He couldn't afford to offend him. Qin Feiyang said with a faint smile, "Come in, I have something to say." Su Shan was the first to run in. Yan Shi and Shi Yun looked at each other, frowned slightly, and also walked into the alchemy room. Qin Feiyang turned to look at the 4 of them and said, "Close the stone door." Shi Yun waved his hand, and the stone door quickly closed. Then, with a puff, he opened his folding fan, waved it slowly, and said with a smile, "I wonder what Brother Su has to teach me." "I don't dare to teach you. I just want to ask Luo Yi and Yan Shi, did you kneel and crawl 3 laps on the square? Did you bark like a dog?" Qin Feiyang said lightly. Luo Yi and Shi Yun's bodies stiffened. Su Shan looked at the 2 of them and hurriedly said, "Senior brother Su, they didn't crawl." "Presumptuous. Do you have the right to speak here?" Luo Yi and Shi Yun shouted angrily, killing intent flashing in their eyes. Su Shan's neck shrank, and there was a trace of fear on his face. Qin Feiyang said with a faint smile, "This is your fault. What I hate the most is people who have no integrity. Brother Su, where it's possible to let people off, let them off. Why be so calculative?" Shi Yun laughed. Qin Feiyang turned to look at him and said with a smile, "Do you know what kind of people I hate? It's people like you who hide a knife behind a smile." The smile on Shi Yun's face froze. Qin Feiyang glanced at Shi Yun with disdain, then glanced at the four of them and said, "I'm too lazy to talk nonsense with you. Tell me, where are the treasures of your tribe?" The four of them were stunned. Su Shan said in surprise, "Senior brother Su, did I hear wrongly?" Qin Feiyang said, "You didn't hear wrongly. I want to know the exact location of your tribe's treasures. Only by knowing the location would it be easier to make a move. If they were to look everywhere, not only would it be a waste of time, it would also be more dangerous." Shi Yun frowned. "Su Ping, what do you mean? Do you want to rob the treasures of our four tribes? You are really smart." Qin Feiyang laughed. The four of them were instantly enraged. "I really admire you. Not only are you talented in alchemy, your guts are also unparalleled." Shi Yun sneered and there was a hint of sarcasm in his words. "Thank you." Qin Feiyang smiled faintly and said, "Can you say it now? Dream on. I still have to refine pills. Forgive me for not accompanying you." Shi Yun said coldly and turned to open the door to leave. "Do you think you can still walk out after entering this door?" Qin Feiyang smiled coldly and waved his hand. Instantly, the four of them felt dizzy. The next moment, they appeared in an extremely unfamiliar place. There was a white wolf, a pangolin, a round fatso, and a beautiful woman. "Where is this?" Shi Yun and the other two were bewildered. Su Shan looked around. When he saw the fatso and wolf king, his eyes were filled with rage. "It's you guys. I recognize you. You are the thieves who stole my tribe's alchemy fire." Hearing Su Shan's shout, Shi Yun and the other two also looked at the fatso and wolf king in surprise. They were exactly the same as the portraits on the wanted posters. Could it be? They abruptly turned around and looked at Qin Feiyang. Their faces were filled with disbelief. Qin Feiyang said lightly, "Yes, I am the Qin Feiyang you are looking for." "Damn it! It's you. Give us back our alchemy fire." Luo Yi, Su Shan, and Yan Shi shouted one after another. However, after Shi Yun learned of Qin Feiyang's true identity, not only was he not angry, but he looked at Qin Feiyang curiously. He smiled faintly and said, "Not only did you deceive all of us, but you also deceived the pagoda master. Brother Qin, you are really unfathomable." Qin Feiyang was stunned. This person's reaction was too unexpected. Shouldn't he hate him as much as Luo Yi and the other two? "Shi Yun, is there something wrong with your brain? He stole our alchemy fire, and you are still so friendly." "What do you mean?" Luo Yi and Yan Shi shouted. "Don't get it wrong. Your tribe's alchemy fire was stolen by him. My Purple Sun tribe's alchemy fire was won by him. There is a good saying, if you agree to bet, you must be willing to lose. My Purple Sun tribe can still afford to lose." Shi Yun smiled faintly. Qin Feiyang was surprised. The Purple Sun tribe's style of doing things made him look at them in a new light. Spineless. Spineless. Luo Yi and Yan Shi cursed. As for Su Shan, the Su tribe's strength was not as strong as the Purple Sun tribe, so he did not dare to curse Shi Yun wantonly like Luo Yi and Yan Shi. However, there was a trace of disdain in his eyes. "Brother Qin, before coming to Sky Thunder City, my father told me to say hello to you if I meet you." Shi Yun smiled. Qin Feiyang said, "You really don't hate me at all?" No. On the contrary, I want to sincerely invite you. Brother Qin, are you willing to join our Purple Sun tribe? If you are willing, you can be the high priest of the Purple Sun tribe. Shi Yun smiled. Qin Feiyang was stunned. Fatso and the others also looked at each other. Luo Yi, Yanshi, and Su Shan looked at each other with extremely gloomy eyes. The Purple Sun tribe really had a good plan. Qin Feiyang's talent in alchemy and martial arts was rare. Moreover, he was the last disciple of the Pagoda Master. His future was limitless. If he joined the Purple Sun tribe, the Purple Sun tribe would definitely rise to a higher level because of him. At that time, even the Ming King tribe and the Black Tortoise tribe would be trampled underfoot, unable to make a comeback. This kind of thing was absolutely not allowed. Luo Yi's eyes trembled as he said, Brother Qin, I also sincerely invite you to be the high priest of the Ming King tribe. Yanshi added, the Black Tortoise tribe also invites you. Although they had a grudge against Qin Feiyang, they could only compromise for the tribe's interests. Shi Yun raised his eyebrows subtly. These two really knew how to join in the fun. Su Shan glanced at the three of them, his eyes flickering. He also wanted to take the opportunity to pull Qin Feiyang into the Su tribe. However, compared to the three super tribes, the Su tribe had no advantage at all. Senior Brother Qin, if you are willing to join the Su tribe, I will go back and advise Father to give you the position of chief. Su Shan gritted his teeth and said in a deep voice. He couldn't find any other conditions that could move Qin Feiyang, so this was the only thing he could think of. Everyone looked at him in shock. Even giving up the position of chief, was there a mistake? Was this guy crazy? Qin Feiyang glanced at the four of them and said jokingly, after hearing what you said, I feel a little embarrassed to kill you. What? He's planning to kill us. The four of them trembled. Chapter 398. I'm not interested in the high priest or the leader. If you're really sincere, then tell me the location of the treasure. Qin Feiyang said lightly. Shi Yun immediately shook his head and said, impossible, please don't force me. Then there's no other way. White-eyed wolf, Fatso, take good care of them. After saying that, Qin Feiyang flashed and appeared in the alchemy room. However, when he opened the stone door, he saw a man and a woman standing in the hall outside. It was Mu Qing and Mu Shui. Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows and walked out of the alchemy room. He closed the door and said, why did you come down? Mu Qing smiled and said, nothing, we were just bored and strolled around. Strolled around? Qin Feiyang sneered secretly. Even an idiot could tell that the two of them were spying on him. He took a step forward and landed in front of the brother and sister. He whispered, you'd better not meddle in my affairs. Don't think that only you are smart and others are fools. The brother and sister's expressions froze. Qin Feiyang coldly glanced at the two of them, then took out a teleportation gate. But what surprised him was that he couldn't open the portal. How could this be? Qin Feiyang frowned and glanced at Mu Qing and her sister. He put away the portal and quickly walked to the bottom floor of the Pill Pagoda. The brother and sister looked at each other, their expressions a little frightened. This person was usually amiable, but when he really turned hostile, it was a little scary. A moment later, Qin Feiyang came to the bottom floor of the Pill Pagoda and immediately saw the city lord sitting cross-legged in the middle of the hall with his eyes closed. Sensing the movement, the city lord opened his eyes and said in surprise, why did you come down? Qin Feiyang cupped his hands and said, I want to go out for a while. Go out? The city lord was stunned and asked, have you told the pagoda master? Qin Feiyang nodded. Then don't mess around outside. The city lord instructed before taking out a palm-sized jade bottle. Inside the jade bottle was a red liquid. The smell of blood wafted out. Blood? Qin Feiyang was surprised. The city lord poured out a drop of blood and waved his hand. The drop of blood flew through the air and landed on the tower door. Boom! Immediately. With a loud bang, the tower door opened quickly. In the meantime, the city lord put away the jade bottle and looked at Qin Feiyang. Come back quickly. Yes. Qin Feiyang nodded and his eyes flashed. He turned around and strode out of the pill tower. If he didn't guess wrong, it was definitely the tower master's blood. Boom! The door of the pagoda also closed. Qin Feiyang landed on the square and looked back at the pill tower. There was no way to open the portal. Furthermore, the tower master's blood was required to open the tower gate. Could it be that this ancient pagoda was the same as the ancient castle, a spatial divine object? If that was the case, then the pagoda master's identity would not be simple. But all of this had nothing to do with him. Farewell to Sky Thunder City. Glancing at the huge city, Qin Feiyang waved his hand and opened the portal. He turned around and walked in. The next moment, he appeared on a snowy ridge. Not far below, there was a super-large tribe. It was the Black Tortoise tribe. Heavy snow swirled and the cold wind was bone-chilling. Glancing at the Black Tortoise tribe, Qin Feiyang entered the castle. A series of wails suddenly came into his ears. He saw Luo Yi and the other three lying on the ground. Their skin and flesh were lacerated and their faces were beyond recognition. Blood kept flowing out. The small castle was filled with a pungent smell of blood. At the same time, there was also the smell of urine. Without a doubt, these four people must have tasted Wolf King's holy water. Wolf King and Fatso stood at the side, their eyes full of ridicule. Qin Feiyang looked at them and asked, "Have you explained it?" Fatso smiled and said, "With Fat Lord and Brother Wolf, isn't it a piece of cake?" "Good. White-eyed Wolf, come out with me. Fatty, keep an eye on them. Also, confiscate their image crystals," Qin Feiyang ordered. Fatso laughed and directly took away the four people's Qianquan bag. At the same time, Qin Feiyang also took out an illusory form pill and turned into Yan Shi's appearance. "You bastard!" Seeing this, Yan Shi immediately roared. "You still have the strength to curse?" Fatso raised his eyebrows and threw the 4 Qianquan bag to Lu Hong. He went up and gave him a good beating. Qin Feiyang glanced at Yan Shi coldly. He took Yan Shi's Qianquan bag from Lu Hong, took out a black leopard skin trench coat and put it on his body. Then, he took Wolf King and left the castle. "Hide. Don't show up without my permission," Qin Feiyang said. "Don't worry about me." Wolf King chuckled, got into the leather trench coat and hid. Qin Feiyang took a deep breath, jumped down, and ran down. Soon, he came to the gate of the Black Tortoise tribe. "Young master, aren't you in the Pill Pagoda? Why are you back? Did you do something wrong and get kicked out?" The 2 burly men guarding the door asked in surprise when they saw him. "Little Qin Zi, according to Yan Shi, you usually look very cold when facing so many clansmen," Wolf King said telepathically. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed, looked at the 2 big men, and said coldly, "Do you need to ask about my business?" He glared at the 2 of them fiercely and walked straight into the tribe. Wherever he passed, people would run up to him to ask. Qin Feiyang kept a straight face. After a while, he came to the wooden building in the center, and without knocking on the door, he directly barged in. The leader of the Black Tortoise tribe was having sex with 2 women. The scene was extremely erotic. The leader of the Black Tortoise tribe was slightly stunned when he saw his son suddenly running back. But he didn't ask much, and continued to crazily pluck the 2 women. Qin Feiyang looked at him in disgust and said to himself, "White-eyed wolf, where is the mechanism?" Wolf King said, "There is a bookshelf in the left corner. Do you see it?" Qin Feiyang looked to the left. In the corner, there was indeed a wooden bookshelf, with all kinds of books neatly placed on it. He strode toward the bookshelf. The mechanism is behind the book in the third column on the left. There is a black button. Just press it. At the same time, Wolf King secretly transmitted. Qin Feiyang walked to the bookshelf, glanced at it, and directly took out the book in the third column. There was indeed a black button inside. At this time, the leader of the Black Tortoise tribe looked up at him and frowned. "Brat, what are you doing?" Qin Feiyang ignored him and pressed the button. With a crack, the ground suddenly split open, revealing a secret passage. He turned and walked to the front of the secret passage, looked at the leader of the Black Tortoise tribe, and coldly snorted, "It's best to control yourself, otherwise you will exhaust yourself to death on women sooner or later." With that, he walked in. "Bastard brat, how dare you curse your father?" the leader of the Black Tortoise tribe said angrily. Then he lowered his head to look at the two women below him and said with a lewd smile, "I'd like to see if you two little girls can exhaust me to death." A great battle of flesh and blood began again. The entire room was filled with the sound of her tender moans. Inside the secret passage, Qin Feiyang stood inside, looking ahead, his eyes flickering. In front of him was a passage about 10 meters long, and at the end, there was a stone door. Wolf King came out of the windbreaker and stood on Qin Feiyang's shoulder, and said, "What are you standing here for? Hurry up and move." Qin Feiyang frowned. "I remember that the white-haired old woman came out from here last time, could she be inside now?" "Are you an idiot? Without the alchemy fire, what is she doing here?" Wolf King rolled his eyes at him. Qin Feiyang was stunned, then nodded with a smile, "That's true. In the past, the white-haired old woman was here because of the alchemy fire and alchemy furnace. Because all the treasures were here, it was convenient to refine pills here." He quickly walked over and pushed open the stone door. A secret room of about 10 feet immediately entered his sight. Wooden shelves were neatly placed all around. On the wooden shelves, there were a large number of Qiankuan bags. On the right, there was another door. Qin Feiyang walked over to take a look. It turned out to be an alchemy room. He looked around again, and after confirming that the white-haired old woman was not here, he began to frantically sweep through. In less than 10 breaths, the entire secret room was swept clean. Then he took out a disguise pill and changed into Luo Yi's appearance. Then he opened a teleportation door and headed directly to the Ming Wang tribe. In the wooden building in the middle, Luo Guang looked at the sun in front of him and frowned. "Why did you suddenly run back? Did you get into trouble again?" But he did not know that the person in front of him was not his son at all. Qin Feiyang hurriedly said, No, this child needs a few medicinal ingredients. Once I get them, this child will immediately return to the Pill Pagoda." "Is that so?" Luo Guang frowned. Qin Feiyang said in panic, "This child doesn't dare to lie." At this time, Luo Guang's expression eased up a lot and said, "Go get it yourself, work hard, don't be beaten by Shi Yun and Yan Shi. This child will definitely work hard." Qin Feiyang nodded. With Wolf King's secret help, he successfully entered the treasure vault. Seeing that the high priest was not around, the man and wolf quickly looted all the treasures of the Ming Wang battle clan. Next, Qin Feiyang did not go out again. He changed his appearance into Su Shan's and used the same method to loot the Su tribe's treasures. Finally, he once again changed into Shi Yun's appearance and appeared at the peak of a snowy mountain. The entire process took less than a few hundred breaths. It's too easy to loot the treasures of the 3 great tribes without any effort. Wolf King chuckled. Qin Feiyang held a folding fan in his hand and shook his head. It won't be too late to be happy after we loot the Ziyang tribe. Wolf King said indifferently, it will definitely go smoothly. I hope so. Qin Feiyang muttered. He opened a teleportation gate and directly descended in front of the wooden building in the center of the Ziyang tribe. Next, he pushed the door open and entered. The leader and the high priest were sitting in front of the bonfire, as if they were discussing something. Seeing Shi Yun suddenly return, the two of them were startled. The middle-aged man stood up and asked doubtfully, Yun, what are you doing back here? Qin Feiyang laughed, I need a few precious medicinal ingredients, so I came back to take a look. Is there any in the warehouse? So it's like that. The two of them nodded in realization. The high priest asked, Yun, do you have any news about Qin Feiyang? No. Qin Feiyang shook his head. Where is this little guy hiding? Chapter 399. Qin Feiyang laughed, this matter is not urgent, he will appear sooner or later. The middle-aged man nodded and said, Yun, is right. Haste makes waste. Let's wait slowly. The high priest smiled and asked, what medicinal herbs do you need? I'll go get them for you. I'd better go by myself. You guys continue chatting. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. He walked to the front of a wall with ease. On the wall, there was a landscape painting. Qin Feiyang lifted the landscape painting and a secret compartment immediately entered his line of sight. Inside the secret compartment, there was a palm-sized jade lion. Qin Feiyang grabbed the jade lion and turned it with force. The ground beside him split open, revealing a secret door. Following that, he walked down openly. The leader and the high priest did not suspect anything. Below the secret door was also a passage. There was a stone door more than 10 meters away. Qin Feiyang walked over excitedly. At the same time, the black tortoise commander who was lying on top of the two women let out a low growl. He was finally done. Awesome. He let out a long breath and looked at the secret door on the ground. He frowned and said, why hasn't this brat come out yet? He definitely doesn't want to disturb us, so he directly used the teleportation gate to leave. A woman said sweetly. If only that brat was so sensible. I'll go take a look. The black tortoise commander snorted coldly, got up and put on his clothes before striding into the secret passage. However, when he entered the treasure vault, he was dumbfounded on the spot. Where was the Qianquan bag? Where was the treasure? Bastard, I won't forgive you. With a furious roar, he opened a teleportation gate and walked in. Luo Guang of the Ming King tribe and the leader of the Su tribe also discovered that the treasure vault was empty. And just like the Black Tortoise commander, they immediately opened the teleportation gate and headed to the Sky Thunder City. And then there was Qin Feiyang. He came to the stone door and pushed it open. This was also a secret room that was more than 100 feet long. One by one, the Qianquan bags were neatly stacked in the secret room. Wolf King smiled proudly, brother, what do you think? Did it go smoothly? Take these treasures and we can leave. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed. With a flick of his sleeve, a large pile of Qianquan bags disappeared without a trace. Wolf King suddenly said, Little Qin Zi, have you thought about how we're going to leave? I've made up my mind. Let's go to the glacier near the Lu tribe first. Qin Feiyang nodded. When they entered the Forgotten Land, they arrived at the glacier over there. The only way to get out of here was in the glacier. Yun, have you found it? I'll help you look for it. But at this moment, a faint laugh rang out. Oh no! Qin Feiyang was shocked. He quickly turned around and saw that the high priest of the Ziyang tribe had also entered the secret door. He smiled calmly and said, There's no need to help. I've already found it. I'll be out soon. The high priest said, I happen to need some battle chi pills as well. Hurry up. Wolf King urged. I know. Qin Feiyang replied secretly. With a wave of his hand, all the Qianquan bags in front of him disappeared in an instant. He turned around and took a step forward to take away the Qianquan bags on the other side. At this moment, the high priest had already entered the passage. As she walked towards the secret room, she looked inside the secret room. When they entered the secret room before, Qin Feiyang did not close the door. He did not expect that the high priest would break in at this time. So, the high priest saw at a glance that all the Qianquan bags were gone. What are you doing? She frowned, took a step forward, and landed in front of the door of the secret room. She immediately saw that Qin Feiyang opened a portal and was about to walk into it. Wait! The high priest raised her eyebrows. She pointed her finger in the air, and a battle chi blasted on the portal like lightning. Boom! With a loud bang, the portal shattered on the spot. Qin Feiyang was also sent flying. Wolf King, who was hiding in his windbreaker, also fell out. When the high priest saw Wolf King, a trace of surprise appeared in her eyes. She asked, when did you have a wolf by your side? You still don't recognize it? Qin Feiyang's heart skipped a beat. He smiled and said, I met it in Sky Thunder City. Seeing that it was a little pitiful, I took it in. Then tell me, what do you want to do with all the Qianquan bags? This is all the savings of our tribe. If you want to take it away, you have to discuss it with us first. Tell me, did you cause some great trouble in the Sky Thunder City? The high priest walked into the secret room and questioned. Qin Feiyang was about to speak. At this moment, the middle-aged man also entered the secret door and asked, what happened? Why did you cause such a big commotion? The high priest said, took away all the treasures. What? When the middle-aged man heard this, he turned into a ray of light and landed in the secret room. Sweeping his gaze across the empty secret room, he immediately frowned and looked at Qin Feiyang. What are you doing? What should we do now? Qin Feiyang was burning with anxiety, and said, but at this moment, the middle-aged man noticed Wolf King again, and a trace of surprise appeared in his eyes. Why does it look a little familiar? Qin Feiyang's heart trembled. Familiar? The high priest looked at Wolf King again, his eyes filled with thought. The man and Wolf could not help but become nervous. The middle-aged man suddenly said, I remember now, it's the wolf on the wanted poster. Yes, that's it. The high priest's eyes lit up, and said, isn't it Qin Feiyang's companion? Why would it be with you? That's not right. The middle-aged man sized up the sun in front of him, and his eyelids suddenly twitched. Do you remember when I became the leader of the tribe? The middle-aged man asked. Obviously, he was already suspecting Qin Feiyang's identity. It seems that I can't hide it anymore. Qin Feiyang glanced at the two of them, and simply took out a facial restoration elixir to restore his true appearance. It's really you. The middle-aged man's eyes trembled. How dare you pretend to be and come to rob the treasure house of our Purple Sun tribe? Qin Feiyang, how dare you? The high priest shouted angrily. The treasure has already entered our pockets. What's the point of saying this? How about this? Brother and little Qin Zi will join your Purple Sun tribe, and these treasures will belong to us. How about that? Wolf King laughed sinisterly. In your dreams. The two of them shouted at the same time. Qin Feiyang asked, then what do you want? I thought you were a talent, so I wanted you to join the tribe. I even planned to let you be the high priest. But I didn't expect you to rob our treasure house. You want to write it off? Sure. But you have to hand over the treasure and swear that you will always be loyal to our Purple Sun tribe. No way. The middle-aged man shouted, and his eyes were as gloomy as water. Qin Feiyang sneered, do you think it's possible? You won't cry until you're in the coffin. The middle-aged man immediately turned hostile. A terrifying oppressive aura surged, pressing down on the man and the wolf. But at this moment, another wave of pressure descended upon him. Several figures broke through the air and entered the secret chamber one after another. The leader was the city lord of Sky Thunder City. Next was Luo Guang, the leader of the Black Tortoise tribe and the leader of the Su tribe. In addition to these 4 people, there were 2 more people. They were Mu Qing and her sister. Little Qin Zi, retreat. Wolf King shouted secretly. Don't worry. Qin Feiyang muttered. The middle-aged man and the high priest looked at each other and frowned slightly. Why were they all here? You're really here. I was wondering who had the guts to rob the treasures of our 3 tribes. So it's you, you little bastard. City Lord, now that we've caught him red-handed, please uphold justice for us. Luo Guang and the other 2 glared at Qin Feiyang and Wolf King, and their eyes flashed with shocking murderous intent. What? The middle-aged man and the high priest were stunned. Before coming to the Purple Sun tribe, this man and wolf had already robbed the treasures of the Black Tortoise tribe, Ming Wang tribe, and Su tribe. Were these 2 guys crazy? They were really not afraid of trouble at all. The city lord glanced at the empty treasure house and looked at Qin Feiyang, asking, You're Su Mu, and also Qin Feiyang? Qin Feiyang nodded. The city lord frowned and said again, Were you the one who robbed the treasures of the 3 tribes? Qin Feiyang nodded again. The city lord's brows were now tightly knitted as he said, Then why are you in the Purple Sun tribe now? City lord, look at the treasure house. There's not even a single gold coin. Isn't it obvious? Luo Guang said angrily. That's right, we don't even need to ask to know that he has already taken away the treasures of the Purple Sun tribe. They've already lost their minds and must be eliminated. The leaders of the Black Tortoise and Su tribe said coldly. All of you, shut up. The city lord roared and a shocking aura spread out invisibly. Everyone's pupils constricted and they fell silent. The city lord looked at Qin Feiyang and said, I want you to answer me personally. They're right. Qin Feiyang nodded. The city lord clenched his hands and asked, Mu Qing told me that before you left the Pill Pagoda, you went to find Shi Yun and the other 3? Qin Feiyang's eyes narrowed and he turned to Mu Qing and her sister. He said, I've told you, don't meddle in my business. I don't want to meddle in it either, but I have no choice. Not long ago, the 3 leaders came to the Pill Pagoda in person to find the city lord, but they found that Shi Yun and the other 3 were missing. Since the city lord came to ask me and my sister, how could we dare to hide anything? We could only tell the truth. Brother Qin, you're really amazing. First, you took away the alchemy fire of the 4 tribes, and now you took away their treasures. I, Mu Qing, have never admired anyone. You're the first. Mu Qing said with a faint smile. Qin Feiyang said, Then how did you know that I was in the Purple Sun tribe? It's very simple. Shi Yun is among the missing people. Shi Yun is the young master of the Purple Sun tribe. You definitely wouldn't let go of the treasures of the Purple Sun tribe. So, we rushed over immediately. As I expected, you're here. Mu Qing spoke frankly with a confident smile on his face. Amazing. Qin Feiyang gave him a thumbs up. Mu Qing smiled and said, You're flattering me. I'm just trying my best. Qin Dage, turn back quickly. With your talent, you'll definitely become an overlord in the future. Why ruin a good future for a moment of greed? Before we left, the pagoda master also told us. As long as you're willing to admit your mistakes, she'll let bygones be bygones. Chapter 400. Turn back? Qin Feiyang sneered. He had never dared to underestimate this pair of brother and sister. But now, he found that he still underestimated them. The city lord said in a deep voice, "Where are Qin Feiyang, Shi Yun and the others now?" Qin Feiyang said, "In my hands." "Well, I won't say much nonsense. Let them go, return the treasure, and this matter will be over. You will still be the last disciple of the pagoda master. Otherwise, you can't escape today. The opportunity has been given to you. Cherish it." The city lord said. "Opportunities are not given by others." Qin Feiyang shook his head. "Stubborn." Luo Guang smiled coldly, and his pressure roared out, imprisoning Qin Feiyang and Wolf King. Qin Feiyang was about to enter the castle, but suddenly his eyes lit up. If it were someone else, facing the city lord and the four leaders at this moment, they would definitely panic. But Qin Feiyang found an opportunity at this critical moment. It was the opportunity for Wolf King to open the fourth level of the Gate of Potential. His eyes flashed, and he disappeared without a trace in an instant. "Damn it! Little Qin Zi, you bastard, how dare you leave me alone?" The Wolf King's eyes widened as it roared furiously. Where is he?" At the same time, Mu Qin, his sister, and the city lord had a trace of surprise in their eyes. "City lord, there is something you don't know. This Qin Feiyang can not only disappear into thin air, but also appear out of thin air. Last time when he went to my Black Tortoise tribe to snatch the elixir fire, he used this to escape." The Black Tortoise leader said. A trace of shock suddenly appeared on the city lord's face. Mu Qing and his sister looked at each other in disbelief. They didn't expect this person to have such an ability. The next moment, Qin Feiyang appeared again. "Where did you go just now? Tell me the truth." Luo Guang shouted. "Is it related to you? All you need to know is that your pressure is useless against me." Qin Feiyang sneered. Suddenly, he looked at the passage behind them and asked in surprise, "Tower Master, why are you here?" "What? Tower Master?" Everyone was shocked and quickly turned their heads to look. "Open your mouth." In the meantime, Qin Feiyang transmitted his voice to Wolf King. Wolf King was stunned and opened his mouth suspiciously. With a wave of Qin Feiyang's hand, the potential pill flew into Wolf King's mouth at lightning speed. This is, immediately. Wolf King's spirits were lifted. It turned out that Qin Feiyang was not running away alone. He was looking for an opportunity to open the fourth level of the Gate of Potential. In the blink of an eye. All this happened in the blink of an eye. Where's the Tower Master? Why is there no one here? Seeing that there was no one behind them, the city lord and the others raised their eyebrows. "Not good. We were fooled by him." Mu Qing shouted. They hurriedly turned back. However, seeing that the man and the wolf did not take the opportunity to escape, they could not help but be stunned. What the hell was this guy doing? Ow! All of a sudden, Wolf King howled. The energy of the potential pill began to take effect. "Didn't you say that my pressure is useless against you?" Seeing this, Luo Guang sneered. "Your pressure can only deal with this wolf cub." Qin Feiyang smiled disdainfully. "What a joke." Luo Guang laughed in anger. Bang! The pressure intensified like a torrent, pouncing towards Qin Feiyang and Wolf King. Qin Feiyang's face turned pale. His body also trembled. The Wolf King let out a heart-wrenching cry. His fur gradually cracked, and blood spurted out like a fountain. However, this was not caused by Luo Guang's pressure. It was because the energy of the potential pill was too overbearing and was about to tear its body apart. Release them immediately, hand over the treasures, kneel down and apologize to us. Otherwise, I will use my pressure to crush your bodies alive. Luo Guang laughed sinisterly. Qin Feiyang's face was ferocious as he provoked, then come and try. You are simply hopeless. Luo Guang was furious. The pressure of the 9-star war emperor erupted without reservation. Wolf King sent a sound transmission, Little Qin Zi, it's not enough. Not enough? Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed as he sneered, is this your pressure? It's nothing more than that. What? You still have the strength to be arrogant? Everyone, let's suppress him together and see how capable he is. Luo Guang shouted. The leader of the Black Tortoise tribe and the leader of the Ziyang tribe released their pressure at the same time and pounced towards the man and the wolf. Bang! As soon as the pressure descended, Wolf King's body suddenly exploded with a dull loud sound. As if he had broken some shackles, his glabella shone brightly. It was the potential imprint that was shining. That light was no longer red, it was dark red. This also meant that Wolf King had successfully opened the 4th level. What's going on? Everyone was shocked. Huh, Wolf King laughed wildly. Thank you. Qin Feiyang looked at Luo Guang and the other two and also revealed a bright smile. What do you mean? The three of them were a little confused. Why did it feel like this man and wolf had picked up a big bargain? It was also at this moment. Mu Qing's heart surged with a deep sense of uneasiness. It felt like something big was about to happen. Swish! Suddenly, Qin Feiyang waved his hand and a yellow pill appeared. It was the 9-chew yellow dragon pill. There were 5 pill patterns on it. A strong medicinal fragrance instantly filled the entire secret room. What? There are actually 5 pill patterns. Was this refined by him? Seeing the Juku yellow dragon pill, the group of people's hearts immediately set off stormy waves. Even the city lord was dumbfounded. No wonder the pagoda master valued him so much. It turned out that he could refine a medicinal pill with 5 pill patterns. What an astonishing talent in alchemy. In my life, this is the first time I've seen such a medicinal pill. The Purple Sun Tribe's high priest's eyes revealed a bright light and said with hurried breathing, Qin Feiyang, as long as you're willing to join my Purple Sun Tribe, we don't want those treasures, we'll give them all to you. The value of a medicinal pill with 5 pill patterns could no longer be measured with money. Even if they had to lose the entire Purple Sun Tribe, as long as they could exchange for this child's joining, it was worth it. Qin Feiyang glanced at the high priest and said, White-eyed wolf, what are you waiting for? Hee, this day has finally come. Wolf King jumped up, rolled his long tongue, and swept the Juku yellow dragon pill into his mouth. That pair of pitch-black eyes burst out with a bright light. What are they doing? Luo Guang frowned. Boom! Suddenly, a terrifying aura roared out from Wolf King's body. Following that, it soared all the way to the 1-star combat emperor. But this was just the beginning. This, what's going on? That medicinal pill just now, could it be the same as the red fire-colored glass pill, increasing one's cultivation? Everyone's expression changed. Boom! In just a split second, the Wolf King's cultivation had risen to the level of a 2-star combat emperor. His aura was like a rainbow. At this moment, the secret chamber shook violently. Crack! Accompanied by a series of loud sounds, cracks continued to spread. Boom! Finally, the secret chamber collapsed. Pieces of gravel and pieces of snow poured down in torrents. The city lord waved his hand, rolled up Luo Guang and the others, and soared into the sky. Little Qin Zi, quickly come on my back. Wolf King shouted. His small body expanded in the wind, and in an instant, he became a behemoth that was more than 10 meters long. Qin Feiyang jumped up and landed on his back. Howl! Wolf King howled, his aura swept in all directions, and he turned into a stream of light and soared into the sky. As he soared into the sky, his aura soared to the 3-star combat emperor. How could this be? He has broken through 3 small realms in a row. Could it be that the medicinal pill he just took was some kind of divine pill? Luo Guang and the others glared at him. Even the city lord couldn't stay calm. We can't let him continue to break through like this. The Black Tortoise leader's eyes were filled with killing intent. He took a step forward in the air. His battle aura surged, and he threw a punch at Wolf King. Little Qin Zi, stand firm. Wolf King's eyes flashed fiercely, and he instantly disappeared from the Black Tortoise leader's sight. What a fast speed! The Black Tortoise leader's pupils contracted. This beast's speed was comparable to a 7-star combat emperor. Swoosh! He took a step forward and quickly chased after Qin Zi. Luo Guang's eyes were cold as he looked at the Purple Sun Tribe's leader and high priest. They won't join the Purple Sun Tribe. If we let them escape, without the support of the resources we have accumulated over the years, our position as the top 3 tribes will soon be replaced by other tribes. Think carefully about what to do. After Luo Guang finished speaking, he rushed out and intercepted Qin Feiyang and Wolf King from the right. The middle-aged man and the high priest looked at each other and intercepted them from the left. The Sioux tribe's leader didn't stay idle either. He followed behind the Black Tortoise leader and madly chased after them. Seeing this, Mu Shuai turned to look at the city lord and frowned. City lord, what should we do now? Mu Qing said, Sister, it's his own fault for not cherishing this opportunity. He can't blame us. But, Mu Shuai still wanted to say something. Mu Qing said angrily, that's enough. You can't even take care of your own matters. Do you have nothing better to do? After being reprimanded by Mu Qing, Mu Shuai finally fell silent. At this moment, the city lord who had been silent all this time sighed and nodded. Mu Qing is right. He asked for it. Even if he is killed by the other leaders, he deserves it. Although he said so, there was a trace of pity in his eyes. Boom! At this moment, Wolf King's cultivation had another breakthrough. He was a 4-star combat emperor. However, his aura was still rising. Why hasn't it stopped yet? Is he going to defy the heavens? How can there be such a ridiculous thing in this world? The shock in everyone's heart could no longer be described with words. Luo Guang and the others' killing intent was getting stronger. The Black Tortoise leader shouted, Everyone, attack with all your might. Boom! 5 rays of battle chi appeared at the same time. Waves of world-destroying aura crazily rolled out. Crash! Boom! Accompanied by a series of loud noises, the 5 battle auras were like tsunamis in the ocean, rushing toward Qin Feiyang and Wolf King from all directions. Murderous aura filled the sky. Wolf King hurriedly said, Little Qin Zi, quickly go to the castle. What about you? Qin Feiyang frowned. Wolf King grinned and said, Don't worry, I won't die. Swoosh! Qin Feiyang flashed and disappeared without a trace. Almost in the next moment, Wolf King was mercilessly drowned by the battle auras. Suddenly, blood dyed the sky. Boom! But at this moment. Chapter 401. A Woo. At the same time, a wolf howl resounded through the sky. This aura, it has already broken through to the 5-star combat emperor. Luo Guang's group of 5, Mu Qing, Mu Shuai, and the mayor were all dumbfounded. How was it possible to soar from the 9-star combat king to the 5-star combat emperor? Was this a dream? Slap. The leader of the Sioux tribe gave himself a hard slap. It hurt. It wasn't a dream. Die, all of you. Wolf King's angry roar suddenly rang out. Boom. The next moment, it rushed out from the battle chi. Its body was 15 to 16 meters long, like a mountain, hovering in the sky. That pair of fierce eyes was almost the size of a millstone, flashing with an astonishing fierce light. Its skin and flesh were lacerated all over its body, and blood flowed out, dyeing the void red. Swoosh! It glanced at everyone, and used the void escape step, heading straight for the leader of the Sioux tribe. Its speed was as fast as lightning. One had to know. The void escape step was a perfect battle art. Although it was only a 5-star combat emperor, it could unleash a speed comparable to a 9-star combat emperor. In a few blinks of an eye, it landed in front of the leader of the Sioux tribe. This person also had the strength of a 5-star combat emperor. However, when he saw Wolf King's fierce eyes, he was so scared that he fled for his life. How dare you attack me, how dare you? Go to hell! Wolf King roared angrily. Blood spurted out as it opened its mouth and directly bit off the head of the Sioux tribe's leader. He didn't even have time to scream before he breathed his last and fell to the ground. Blood spurted out from the bowl-sized wound on his neck. Trash! Wolf King sneered and raised his head to look at the Mu-Ching siblings. Immediately, the siblings couldn't help but feel cold all over. The siblings were very clear. Their actions had already angered this ferocious wolf. If it wasn't for the mayor, Wolf King's next target would probably be them. At the same time, Black Tortoise leader, Luo Guang, Ziyang tribe's leader, and high priest looked at the corpse of the Sioux tribe's leader and looked at each other. Killing intent filled their eyes. Boom! The four of them simultaneously activated their fighting souls and charged towards Wolf King. Since you want to die so badly, I'll fulfill your wish. Wolf King abruptly turned around, and a golden beast shadow appeared behind him. Strip! Following its roar, the four fighting souls were devoured by the beast in the blink of an eye. What? Why is this happening? Where's my battle soul? Why can't I sense it? The four of them were dumbfounded. Your fighting souls have been taken away by me. Wolf King grinned maliciously. He activated the void evasion step and appeared in front of the high priest in a few flickers. It opened its mouth and swallowed the high priest alive. The high priest was only a 5-star combat emperor. Wolf King's plan was to get rid of the two 5-star combat emperors first and then slowly deal with the others. Bastard, I'll kill you. The chief of the Purple Sun tribe was furious. First, his fighting soul had been taken away, and now, the high priestess had been swallowed alive. This had driven him crazy. He threw a punch at Wolf King. The strength of a 9-star combat emperor was not reserved at all. Berserker's fury. Wolf King raised his head and roared. His chi rose crazily once again. At the same time, he had transformed into a muscular wolf. He stood high up in the sky like an ancient giant, causing the Mu-Ching siblings in the distance to be frightened. They finally realized what kind of existence they had offended. Wolf King's claw struck out and collided with the fist of the chief of the Purple Sun tribe. Boom! Wolf King was sent flying on the spot. The skin on his claw was lacerated. The chief of the Purple Sun tribe only took a few steps back. However, in his heart, waves were surging. He was a 9-star combat emperor. As for Wolf King, even if his cultivation had increased by 5 small realms in a short period of time, he was only a 5-star combat emperor. However, the collision just now had actually forced him to retreat. How could his strength be so ridiculously strong? Luo Guang and the Black Tortoise commander were also in deep disbelief. I understand now. The city lord suddenly spoke, his eyes were filled with shock. What do you understand? The Mu Qing siblings were bewildered. Berserker's Fury is a superior combat art. Its footwork is a perfect auxiliary combat art. The city lord said in a deep voice. The siblings' eyes trembled. Luo Guang and the other two were even more shocked. Even for the three super tribes, the battle arts they had mastered were only of the medium grade. However, they did not expect that this beast not only mastered a superior combat art, but also a perfect auxiliary combat art. Unbelievable. What was the background of this Qin Feiyang? A ferocious beast beside him already had such an amazing combat art. Wouldn't he have mastered even more amazing combat arts? Boom! At this moment, Wolf King stabilized his huge body and glanced at Luo Guang and the other two. A 9-star combat emperor is just so. He grinned and swallowed a healing pill. The broken claw was immediately repaired at a speed visible to the naked eye. Extremely arrogant. The three of them were burning with anger and displayed their combat arts at the same time. Waves of shocking aura, like a torrent, crazily rolled out between heaven and earth. Kill! Following the three people's shout. The three major combat arts, with surging murderous intent, blasted towards Wolf King. You want to kill your brother with this little strength? Naive. Wolf King smiled disdainfully, using the void escape step, he appeared on the other side in a few flashes. Encircle and annihilate it. Luo Guang shouted angrily. The three of them turned into a stream of light and quickly surrounded Wolf King in the middle. There's no need for this. Come on, I'll fight with you. Wolf King's heroic spirit soared to the sky, his huge body crossed the sky and instantly landed in front of the black tortoise leader. A man and a wolf collided with each other. Wolf King was sent flying on the spot, spitting out blood. Huh, so what if you're a 9-star combat emperor? I'll kill all of you today. Wolf King laughed wildly. The injury would not make him timid, it would only make him crazier and crazier. Roar! Boom! He was like a ferocious beast, crazily fighting with the three people. Blood flowed and dyed the sky red. Not good. Mu Qing frowned. Although Luo Guang and the other two were 9-star combat emperors and had mastered mid-tier combat arts, they did not have any auxiliary combat arts. Although Wolf King's strength was weaker than the three of them, the perfect auxiliary combat arts it had mastered were enough to keep its speed on par with the three of them. Facing the bombardment of the three people's combat arts, it could easily dodge them every time. Although it was at a disadvantage, Luo Guang and the other two were unable to cause fatal damage to it. There was one more point. The healing pill that the Wolf King had consumed had 2 pill veins. The healing pill of Luo Guang and the other two only had 1 pill pattern. Moreover, the pill patterns were still very blurry. The medicinal effect was naturally not as good as the healing pill with 2 pill patterns. More importantly, Wolf King was too ferocious, he was playing with his life. That astonishing battle intent was endless, oppressing the three of them to the point that they almost couldn't breathe. As time passed, seeing that they couldn't take down Wolf King, the three of them began to become a little impatient. Moreover, Wolf King's combat awareness and instincts were something that the three of them couldn't compare to. If this trend continued, the situation that was supposed to be a sure win would definitely be reversed. Sure enough. The chief of Ziyang tribe was slightly careless and Wolf King seized the opportunity to slap his head with his claw. Accompanied by a shrill scream, like a meteorite, it crashed into the glacier below. Boom! The glacier suddenly collapsed. Damn it! We 3 9-star combat emperors joined forces and we couldn't even defeat a beast. This is a great humiliation. Luo Guang and the Black Tortoise Chief roared again and again. Battle chi and battle arts, they all rushed towards Wolf King. Old man, the show has only just begun. Wolf King used the void evasion step, dodging the attack of the battle arts and madly rushed towards Luo Guang. The millstone's eyes were suffused with a bloodthirsty radiance. Its entire body was covered in blood. A few wounds were so deep that the bones could be seen. If it was someone else or any other beast, they would have already collapsed after suffering such heavy injuries. However, Wolf King's aura was even more astonishing. It was like a fighting machine that didn't know fatigue or pain. Seeing Wolf King rushing towards him, Luo Guang's heart was filled with an indescribable sense of fear. He turned his head to look at the city lord and roared, "City lord, please help me." The city lord frowned slightly. Boom! An astonishing aura, like a volcanic eruption, roared out from his body. In the end, he still chose to make a move. "Beast, your end is here." The chief of Ziyang tribe rushed out from the broken glacier below with a murderous aura all over his body. His head was broken. Blood flowed down and dyed his face red, making him look extremely ferocious at this moment. At the same time, Luo Guang and the Black Tortoise Chief were also full of confidence. As long as the city lord made a move, only death would await this beast today. Whoever dares to move, I will kill them. At this moment, a cold voice came from below. "Who dares to threaten us? Are you courting death?" Luo Guang shouted. Everyone looked down and their expressions suddenly changed. They saw Qin Feiyang standing on an ice peak with 4 young people lying at his feet. It was Shi Yun and the other 3. Qin Feiyang shouted, "White-eyed wolf, come down quickly. We never play games that we are not confident in." Wolf King chuckled, turned into the size of a palm, swooped down, landed on Qin Feiyang's shoulder, and then took a healing pill. "Game?" The city lord frowned and said in a deep voice, "For you, is this just a game?" Qin Feiyang said, "Regardless of whether it is a game or not, if you don't want them to lose their lives, stand there and don't move." Luo Guang and the other 2 had already swooped down, but when they heard this, they stopped in unison and looked at the city lord. The city lord was very angry and said angrily, "Qin Feiyang, don't be stubborn. Don't worry, I won't mess around in the future. Because all of this has nothing to do with me." Qin Feiyang glanced at the few people, waved his hand, and a portal quickly opened. Boom! However, at this moment, a terrifying aura descended upon the place. Qin Feiyang and Wolf King were immediately imprisoned in the void. This time, they were really imprisoned. Swish! A graceful woman appeared out of thin air in the sky. Her black hair was like a waterfall, her long skirt fluttered, and her eyes were as cold as ice, like an ice fairy that descended to the mortal world. She was the Pagoda Master. Greetings, Pagoda Master. Chapter 402. The Pagoda Master glanced at the 3 of them and then looked down at Qin Feiyang. "I'll give you another chance. Let them go and return the treasures of the 4 tribes. I'll think about it and give you a lighter punishment," she said with a straight face. There was a trace of disappointment in her dark eyes. Qin Feiyang said, "What if I say no? I'll kill you now. I'll give you 3 breaths to make a decision." The Pagoda Master said. 3 breaths passed in the blink of an eye. Seeing that Qin Feiyang didn't answer, the Pagoda Master didn't continue to talk nonsense and pointed her index finger in the air. A wave of battle chi emerged and rolled toward Qin Feiyang and Wolf King. Seeing this, a cold smile crept onto the faces of Luo Guang and the others. This was the result of being stubborn. Boom! However, at this time, a white figure suddenly appeared in front of Qin Feiyang and Wolf King. She was also a woman. She was also wearing a black mask on her face, covering her true face. As soon as she appeared, she waved her hand and a wave of battle chi went against the current and collided with the pagoda master's battle chi. Boom! At this moment, an earth-shattering noise suddenly resounded in this place. What? So strong! Seeing this, everyone present was extremely shocked. Who was this masked woman? She could compete with the pagoda master. Go! The masked woman looked up at the pagoda master, her eyes as calm as water, and said to Qin Feiyang without looking back, "Go." This voice, Qin Feiyang's eyes trembled. He was too familiar with this voice. It was the madam of the Meng family lurking in White Fox City. Wolf King shouted, "Little Qin Zi, what are you waiting for? Go!" Qin Feiyang shivered, glanced at Mu Qing and her brother, then turned and plunged into the portal. The next moment, the portal disappeared. The pagoda master frowned and looked at the middle-aged woman, saying, "Who are you? It has nothing to do with you." The middle-aged woman said indifferently, then turned around and left. "You want to leave? Not so easy." A cold light flashed in the pagoda master's eyes. He turned into a flash of light and chased after them. The city lord and the others also quickly landed on the ice peak. Looking at the unconscious Shi Yun and the other three who didn't even look human anymore, their faces were as dark as water. Mu Qing's heart also felt heavy. It turned out that there was such a big shot behind Qin Feiyang. No wonder he dared to be so unbridled. Mu Shui whispered, "Brother, we really shouldn't meddle in his business. What's done is done. What's the use of regretting it now? Besides, I don't regret it. As long as I can gain the Tower Master's trust, I won't hesitate to offend Qin Feiyang, even if I have to offend everyone in the world." Mu Qing clenched her fists, and her eyes were filled with determination. At the same time, Qin Feiyang was standing on the shore of a frozen lake. This was the place where he landed when he first arrived at the Forgotten Land. Wolf King stood on his shoulder and asked in confusion, "Little Qin Zi, why did that woman suddenly appear?" "How would I know?" Qin Feiyang rolled his eyes at it. If he knew, he wouldn't be so surprised. Damn it, what is this Forgotten Land? It's only been such a short time, and we've already met two existences that surpass the War Emperor. Do you think we'll meet even stronger people if we continue to go deeper? Wolf King said. Who knows? Let's not care about that. We're leaving soon anyway. The pagoda master and the madam have nothing to do with us. Qin Feiyang smiled and threw away all the doubts in his head. He scanned the surroundings, looking for an exit. However, as far as his eyes could see, there was only ice. He didn't find anything suspicious. Brother, let's go up and take a look. Wolf King flew into the sky and stood 10,000 feet high, looking down below. A moment later, it landed on Qin Feiyang's shoulder and shook its head. I don't see any altars or portals. Qin Feiyang frowned and said, could it be covered by the snow? Wolf King said, I'm thinking, did you guess wrong? Maybe the exit isn't here at all? That shouldn't be possible. It's definitely not a coincidence that we landed here. Qin Feiyang shook his head. Aren't there water beasts in this frozen lake? Let's get them out and ask. Wolf King waved its claws and a wave of battle chi rushed out and blasted into the frozen lake, immediately setting off a huge wave more than 10 meters high. Dong! Roar! In the next moment, one by one, huge water beasts rushed out of the water. A terrifying aura instantly enveloped the entire area. The 3 snow pythons that had almost killed Qin Feiyang back then were also among them. Those water beasts also recognized Qin Feiyang at a glance. They immediately opened their bloody mouths and revealed their dense fangs, pouncing towards Qin Feiyang. You're courting death. Wolf King's eyes turned cold and its aura exploded. The group of water beasts stopped in unison and immediately turned around, fleeing towards the frozen lake in fear. Wolf King was stunned. These little reptiles couldn't stand being scared, right? Qin Feiyang shook his head and laughed. He glanced at the frozen lake and said, "Let's go to the bottom of the lake and take a look." Wolf King was stunned and said disdainfully, "Are you an idiot? The lake is full of water. How can the exit be in the water? The point is, when I entered the Forgotten Land, I fell into the frozen lake," Qin Feiyang said. "Then, alright, it won't take much time anyway." Wolf King waved its claws, and Battle Qi emerged, condensing into a Battle Qi boundary. It brought Qin Feiyang into the frozen lake. Those water beasts were all hiding under the water, waiting for an opportunity to move. Seeing a man and a wolf enter the frozen lake, they immediately fled in panic. Seeing this scene, Qin Feiyang was filled with emotions. 7 months ago, it was him and Fatso who fled for their lives. 7 months later, they came here again, but the ones who fled were these water beasts. In just a few months, except for the pangolin, everyone's strength had undergone earth-shaking changes. Especially Wolf King, who could even fight against a 9-star combat emperor. When he returned to the state capital, who knew how many jaws would drop? A moment later, a man and a wolf sank to the bottom of the lake. The bottom of the lake was filled with mud and gravel. After being stirred up by the water beasts, it became very turbid. Wolf King said angrily, "How are we going to find it?" Qin Feiyang frowned and said, "Let's wait until the lake water clears up." Immediately, 1 man and 1 wolf stayed at the bottom of the lake, quietly waiting. Hundreds of breaths passed. The lake water finally became much clearer, and one could see 2 to 3 meters away. Qin Feiyang and Wolf King began to search at the bottom of the lake. The water beasts had all run to the surface of the water. Except for 1 man and 1 wolf, there were no other creatures at the bottom of the lake. It was silent. Soon, they searched the bottom of the lake, but found nothing. Wolf King said, "No wonder, the exit can't be underwater." Qin Feiyang frowned and said, "Look again." 1 man and 1 wolf searched the bottom of the lake again, but still found nothing. Wolf King said helplessly, "Give up now." Qin Feiyang stood on a pile of gravel, his brows tightly knitted. If the exit was not here, then it would be troublesome. The Forgotten Land was vast and boundless. Finding an exit was like finding a needle in a haystack. Wolf King suddenly said, "Little Qin Zi, what if there is no exit?" Qin Feiyang's eyes trembled, and he shouted in a low voice, "Shut up." He didn't want to be trapped in this place for the rest of his life. Suddenly, the gravel under his feet moved. Qin Feiyang was shocked and hurriedly looked down, but there was nothing unusual. Was it an illusion? Just when he was about to believe that it was an illusion, the gravel under his feet moved again. What's going on? Wolf King also noticed it, and his eyes were full of surprise. Qin Feiyang swallowed his saliva and bent down to grab the gravel. But at this moment, all the gravel began to move. Wolf King hurriedly took Qin Feiyang and retreated. Crash! Bang! 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 Just as they retreated, the pile of gravel collapsed in an instant and rolled to both sides. Pieces of mud rose and dyed the lake water extremely muddy. A man and a wolf caught a white shadow in the muddy water. At the same time, there was a rumbling sound. But soon, the movement disappeared. The mud in the lake water also slowly settled. When the lake water cleared and they saw what was in front of them, Qin Feiyang and Wolf King couldn't help but change their expressions. Between the mud and gravel, there was a huge monster lying quietly. It was the head of a snow python. But compared to the 3 they encountered before, this snow python was much bigger. Its head was as thick as a dustpan. They didn't know the length because they could only see 3 or 4 meters away. However, judging from its sturdy body, this snow python was definitely not less than 10 meters long. Little Qin Zi, I can't see through this guy's cultivation. Wolf King transmitted his voice. His tone was very serious. This snow python didn't emit any aura. If they didn't see it with their own eyes, they wouldn't have noticed it here. However, it gave Qin Feiyang and Wolf King an extremely strong sense of danger. Qin Feiyang observed for a moment. He found that the snow python's eyes were closed and it was motionless. Its breathing and heartbeat were also very stable. Qin Feiyang transmitted his voice, it should be sleeping. It just turned over. Wolf King heaved a sigh of relief and said to himself, this guy's strength has obviously surpassed the War Emperor. Don't you think it's strange that it's hiding here? Qin Feiyang's heart skipped a beat as he asked in surprise, what do you mean? What could it be guarding? It's even possible that there's some treasure hidden here. At the mention of treasures, the Wolf King's eyes glowed green. Treasure? Qin Feiyang glanced at the snow python, his eyes flickering. What are you thinking about? Hurry up and find it. The Wolf King urged, his saliva dripping down. Okay, let's find it. Qin Feiyang nodded. It was better to believe it than not to believe it. What if there was really some treasure? A man and a wolf followed the snow python's huge body and searched all the way down. They found the snow python's tail. In the end, they didn't find anything except gravel and mud. You dare to make me happy for nothing? Wolf King was very unhappy. He slapped the snow python's tail with his claws. The snow python's huge body suddenly shook. Its huge tail suddenly rose and swept towards the man and the wolf. Qin Feiyang's expression changed. He hurriedly took Wolf King to hide in the castle. After entering the castle, Qin Feiyang glared at Wolf King. Was this thing something they could provoke? Chapter 403. Wolf King also realized that he had made a big mistake. He smiled embarrassedly, I was impulsive and couldn't hold back. Sorry. Qin Feiyang rolled his eyes and listened carefully to the movements outside. Boom! A loud noise came into the castle. It must be the sound of the snow python's huge tail hitting the bottom of the lake. Then. It was quiet outside. It seems that it didn't wake up. Qin Feiyang whispered. It made sense. For such a huge creature, Wolf King's claw just now was just tickling it. Don't mess around. After waiting for a while, Qin Feiyang warned Wolf King and appeared at the bottom of the lake again with Wolf King. A pitch-black ditch immediately entered their line of sight. It was obviously caused by the snow python's huge tail. Qin Feiyang looked at the ditch and his pupils shrank slightly. He whispered, let's go up quickly. Let's look again. Wolf King was a little unwilling. Qin Feiyang couldn't help but feel helpless. A man and a wolf followed the snow python's huge tail and came to the side of the snow python's head. It seems that I really thought too much. Wolf King shook his head and sighed. With eyes full of disappointment, he rolled up Qin Feiyang and swept towards the surface of the water. Suddenly, Qin Feiyang shouted, wait! Wolf King's eyes lit up and said excitedly, did you find some treasure? Qin Feiyang rolled his eyes. If this goes on, this ruffian wolf will definitely become a little money grubber. He lowered his head and looked at the ground next to the snow python's head. Just now when Wolf King hit it with his claw, it turned over again. The place that was originally blocked by its head was now completely exposed. There was still a layer of mud on the ground. However, in the middle of the mud, there was a very neat square mark. Qin Feiyang looked at it and felt a little strange. If it was accidentally caused, the shape wouldn't be so neat. Qin Feiyang whispered, let's go down and take a look. The Wolf King landed in front of the mark with him. Qin Feiyang bent down and wiped off the mud on his clothes. His eyes suddenly lit up. He hurriedly stretched out his other hand and used both hands to carefully scrape away the mud. What are you doing? Wolf King was puzzled. Shoo. Qin Feiyang made a shushing gesture. When all the sludge was cleared, a secret door entered his sight. There's actually another secret. Wolf King's eyes widened and his saliva flowed out. Needless to say, there must be some kind of treasure hidden under this secret door. Qin Feiyang glanced at the secret door and then glanced at the snow python. He seemed to have understood something. The snow python's head was pressed against the secret door. After 2 flips, the secret door was exposed. At the same time, because he flipped over, he stirred up the mud in other places. When the sludge settled down and landed on the secret door, it formed a mark around the edges of the secret door. In other words, if Wolf King hadn't patted it with his paw, this secret door would have been sealed at the bottom of the lake forever. He didn't expect that the ruffian wolf, who almost caused a disaster, would be a great help instead. What are you thinking? Go down quickly. Wolf King said impatiently. What's the hurry? What if it's not a treasure but a devil's den below? If we rush in like this, won't we be courting death? Qin Feiyang transmitted his voice. You're so long-winded. Wolf King pushed him away. He clasped the edge of the secret door with his paw and pulled it up forcefully. The secret door suddenly opened. It was pitch black inside. Splash! The lake water, mixed with mud, poured into it. At the same time, the snow python next to him also suddenly opened its eyes. Its eyes were extremely gloomy and cold. Seeing this, Qin Feiyang couldn't help but feel his scalp numb. He went into the secret door without hesitation. Wolf King also followed closely behind. After a man and a wolf went in, the secret door was closed with a bang under the water pressure. Bang! In the endless darkness, Qin Feiyang suddenly felt that he had fallen onto a hard rock. All the bones in his body were about to fall apart. He was extremely sore. It's so soft. What the hell is this? The Wolf King's bewildered voice reverberated in the air. It meant that this was a sealed space. Nonsense. You're on top of me. Of course it's soft. Qin Feiyang's angry roar followed. Sorry, I didn't mean to use you as a meat cushion. Wolf King laughed. He waved his paw and a golden battle aura emerged, shining in all directions. What entered their sight was a cave. It was very humid and cold. It gave off a gloomy feeling. And at the top of the cave, which was dozens of meters high, they could clearly see a secret door. At the edge of the secret door, there was still residual lake water dripping down continuously. Why didn't that snow python come in? Wolf King stood on Qin Feiyang's chest. He looked up at the secret door with a surprised expression. Can you go down first? Qin Feiyang said angrily. Did he not see that he was still lying on the ground with his limbs spread out? Hey, sorry. Wolf King grinned and jumped to the ground. Qin Feiyang got up. His flaming battle aura surged and evaporated the lake water on his body. At the same time, the Wolf King turned around and looked behind him. His eyes were immediately stunned. He stretched out his little paw and pulled Qin Feiyang's pants. Little Qin Z, look at that. What is that? What? Qin Feiyang's heart skipped a beat. Could there be some ferocious beasts lurking here? He slowly turned around to look. At that moment, his face was filled with ecstasy. It was not a ferocious beast. This was the bottom of the cave. It was about 100 feet deep. And dozens of meters in front of him, which was the center of the cave, stood a blood-red altar. That altar, whether it was size or shape, was exactly the same as the altar in Butterfly Valley. In other words, this was most likely the exit. Damn it! Suddenly, Wolf King roared. Qin Feiyang was shocked and hurriedly asked, "What's wrong? Why is there no treasure? Isn't it equivalent to working hard for half a day in vain?" Wolf King said angrily. A row of black lines suddenly appeared on Qin Feiyang's forehead. "I'll endure it." He took a deep breath and walked to the blood-red altar, frowning slightly. He remembered that before coming here, the ugly old woman used battle aura to revive. And at that time, she looked very strained. The ugly old woman was very strong, but even she was having such a hard time. With his and the Wolf King's strength, would they be able to revive the altar? Qin Feiyang looked at Wolf King and said angrily, "Don't look like you're half dead. Hurry up and try. Can you revive the altar?" Wolf King pursed its lips, and its eyes suddenly lit up. "Little Qin Zi, the snow python is so strong. It must have treasures on it. Why don't we wait until we get its treasures before leaving?" it said excitedly. Qin Feiyang immediately gave it a knock on the head and shouted, "Hurry up. You know how strong the snow python is, but you still want to provoke it? Are you tired of living? Boring." Wolf King groaned and walked to the altar. With a wave of its little paw, battle aura emerged and flowed toward the altar. The altar suddenly emitted a ray of blood light. But it was still far from being revived. 100 breaths passed. The altar was still not fully revived. "I'm the peerless wolf god. Can't I do anything to you?" Wolf King also became angry. The battle aura in its sea of qi poured out without reservation. However, the blood-colored altar still could not be completely revived. Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows. Flaming battle aura, purple gold dragon aura, and red sword aura all emerged and rushed toward the altar. At the same time, with a thought, he took Fatso and the pangolin out and shouted, "Help!" The man and the beast glanced at the underground cave in surprise and were about to ask, but when they heard Qin Feiyang's words, they immediately mobilized their battle aura and poured it into the altar. Another 100 breaths passed. Qin Feiyang and Fatso's faces began to turn pale. Wolf King and the pangolin also showed a trace of weakness in their eyes. Fatso shouted, "Boss, it's not working. With our strength, there's no way to revive it. What should we do?" Wolf King and the pangolin were also a little out of their wits. Boom! All of a sudden, a muffled noise came from above the secret door. The two men and two beasts looked over at the same time. "Get out of the way immediately and I'll spare your life." All of a sudden, a woman's angry shout came in. "It's her." Qin Feiyang and the others looked at each other. This was the madam's voice. Fatso said in surprise, "How did she find this place?" Qin Feiyang frowned. This matter was indeed a little strange. He did not tell anyone that he came here. Logically speaking, this woman should definitely not know his whereabouts. This is a forbidden area, no trespassing, scram. At this moment, another woman's voice sounded, filled with a supreme majesty. "Who is this?" Wolf King was shocked. This was not the madam's voice, nor was it the pagoda master's voice. Could it be that somewhere in the ice lake, there was still a peerless powerhouse lurking? Qin Feiyang said, "Don't care who it is, hurry up and revive the altar." If they were caught by the madam, they would probably never have the chance to leave the Forgotten Land. However, their battle chi was about to be exhausted, and they could not completely revive the altar. The pangolin said anxiously, "Qin Feiyang, hurry up and think of a way, I don't want to die here." "Yeah." Fatso shouted, "Fat Lord is not married yet, we can't let him fall into the hands of that woman." "Shut up. Qin Feiyang shouted, countless thoughts flashing through his mind. Boom! Bang bang bang! Outside. A series of earth-shattering noises kept coming in. The underground cave trembled violently. I don't know if this method will work. Qin Feiyang mumbled. With a wave of his hand, a battle chi pill appeared, shining with a dazzling light, and flew toward the altar. The energy of the battle chi pill could replenish battle chi. Perhaps it could also be used to revive the altar. Under Qin Feiyang's nervous gaze, the battle chi pill landed on the altar and immediately shattered, turning into a pure energy that was absorbed by the altar. It works! Qin Feiyang's eyes lit up, and he shouted, hurry up and throw in all your battle chi pills. Hearing that, Fatso and Wolf King took out their battle chi pills. There were 5 elixir patterns. There was 1 elixir pattern. There were also those without elixir patterns. The battle chi pills without elixir patterns were all looted from the treasure vault of the trading pavilion, the He tribe, and the Lu tribe. There were a total of 300,000 to 400,000. A large number of them were thrown toward the altar. Buzz! The blood-colored altar shone brightly in an instant, and finally fully revived. Chapter 404. Just as Qin Feiyang and the others stepped onto the blood-colored altar, the secret door at the top of the stone cave opened. The lake water poured down. A white figure descended into the grotto. It was that mysterious lady. She looked at the altar, then looked at Qin Feiyang and the others, and said gloomily, "Where do you want to go?" Qin Feiyang and the others did not answer. The blood-red light of the altar shone brightly, and their figures were quickly fading. "Looks like I've cultivated a few white-eyed wolf. Since that's the case, I'll kill you with my own hands." The lady was furious, her index finger pointed in the air, and battle chi gushed out from her fingertip. Quick, quick, quick! Qin Feiyang was anxious. He wished he could be teleported away immediately. At this moment, the secret door opened again. A white light flashed into the grotto. It was a snow python. But it was only as thick as an arm and a meter long. Its entire body was snow-white, as if it was carved from a piece of jade, shining with a hazy light. "Trespassers will be killed without mercy." The snow python roared, and rushed towards the lady like lightning. "It's her voice?" Qin Feiyang was stunned. So the second voice that sounded out before was this snow python. The lady's gaze darkened, and she had to change her target, pointing at the snow python. Battle chi was like a rainbow, and it collided with the snow python. At the same time, Qin Feiyang and the others' figures completely faded, and disappeared without a trace. The light of the blood-red altar also quickly dimmed. "Damn it!" Seeing this, the lady cursed, looked at the snow python, and said angrily, "Why didn't you stop them? Although they sneaked in while I was asleep, they didn't force their way in like you did. Moreover, they're not from the Forgotten Continent, leaving is only a matter of time." The snow python said coldly. "What? Not from the Forgotten Continent?" The lady's gaze trembled, and said in surprise, "Could they be from that continent?" "That's right. I know your identity. I don't want to target you now, leave quickly." The snow python said. The madam's pupils shrank. She took a deep look at the blood-colored altar, then turned into a stream of light, opened the secret door, and quickly left. Qin Feiyang, what an interesting little fellow, but if I'm targeted by this woman, I won't have any peaceful days in the future, the snow python muttered to itself. With a glint in its eyes, it left the cave as well. Soon, the cave fell into a deathly silence. Meanwhile, above the grove in Butterfly Valley, Qin Feiyang, Fatso, Wolf King, and the pangolin appeared out of nowhere. Wolf King waved its claws and released its battle aura, lifting Qin Feiyang and the others into the air. Looking at the familiar scene below, he could not help but feel joy in his eyes. Fortunately, the snow python came in time. Otherwise, the situation would have been very bad. But suddenly, Qin Feiyang remembered the ugly old woman and shouted at Wolf King, "Retreat!" Retreat? Wolf King was stunned for a moment before he understood. He immediately turned around and flew towards the sea of flowers. Even if you don't want to see me, you should at least say hello before leaving. But at this time, the hoarse voice of a figure sounded. Following closely, the ugly old woman rushed out of the grove and stood in front of Qin Feiyang and the others. Damned old witch! Wolf King cursed in his heart, then quickly turned around and fled towards the back. The ugly old woman sneered, "Qin Feiyang, don't you want the antidote?" Wolf King roared, "Want your sister, scram as far as you can." Shwa! The ugly old woman flashed a few times and stood in front of Qin Feiyang and the others. Her eyes were filled with ridicule. "Fuck, are you done yet?" Wolf King was furious. He turned in the air and continued to flee. Qin Feiyang sighed, "Stop, you won't be able to escape." Wolf King stopped in mid-air, glared at the ugly old woman, and shouted, "Old witch, brother is telling you, don't go too far." The ugly old woman said, "Cut the crap, hand over the heavenly thunder flame." "I didn't get it." Qin Feiyang shook his head. The ugly old woman frowned and said in a deep voice, "You really didn't get it? Or do you want to take it for yourself? The owner of the heavenly thunder flame is an expert that surpasses the war emperor. How do you want us to snatch it? If you have the ability, then go. Ugly people do more strange things." This sentence is indeed true. Qin Feiyang shouted angrily. His face was full of ridicule. Without the black fiend poison, he wasn't afraid of this old witch. "Do you want to die?" The ugly old woman's gaze turned cold. Qin Feiyang sneered, "I want to, but do you have the ability?" The ugly old woman stared at him gloomily, and suddenly laughed, "If you don't bring back the heavenly thunder flame, then don't get the antidote." "TSK, who cares about your antidote?" Fatso disdained. Wolf King waved his claws and said impatiently, "Don't waste your breath with her, just send a message to little girl Ren and ask her grandfather to come and save us." The ugly old woman's eyes flashed, and she asked, "You really didn't get the heavenly thunder flame?" "Even if I did, I wouldn't give it to you." Qin Feiyang shrugged his shoulders. "You have a personality, kid. In that case, you've also cured the black fiend poison?" the ugly old woman said. Qin Feiyang nodded, "That's right, what else can you use to threaten me now?" "Hee," the ugly old woman laughed. Qin Feiyang and the others looked at each other. Was this old witch stupid? Suddenly, Qin Feiyang waved his hand and opened a teleportation gate. The two men and two beasts rushed in at lightning speed, and the next moment, they appeared in a valley. "We've finally escaped." Fatso, Wolf King, and the pangolin immediately collapsed to the ground, patting their chests with lingering fear. Qin Feiyang also heaved a long sigh of relief. The ugly old woman was too strong. If they had not escaped in time, they would have been trapped in the Butterfly Valley for the rest of their lives. Fatso got up, looked around, and asked suspiciously, "Where is this? Don't you remember? This is the lair of the pangolin." Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. This was where they found the pangolin back then. If they had not come to look for the pangolin back then, none of this would have happened. For a moment, Fatso was also filled with emotions. Wolf King soared into the air and looked in the direction of the city. A fierce light flashed in his eyes as he sneered, "It's time to go back and deal with the Dong family. Little follower, see you later." The pangolin hurriedly said, "Don't, this king will follow you in the future. In your dreams." Fatso glanced at it with disdain. If it weren't for the potential pill, this guy might have slipped away long ago. Brother Qin Dage, my dear big brother, can you be so merciful and do a good deed and take me in? Wolf King and Fatso both disagreed. The pangolin could only run to Qin Feiyang and hug Qin Feiyang's thigh, looking at him with tears in his eyes. Qin Feiyang's face twitched, and said with a straight face, "Didn't you think of ways to escape?" At that time, this king was blind. More importantly, this king didn't have any feelings for you at that time. But after 7 months of being together, this king realized that I can't leave you. The pangolin said with snot and tears. Like a child about to be abandoned, he looked extremely pitiful. Keep pretending, keep pretending. Do you think we're idiots? Who doesn't know that you can't leave the potential pill? Wolf King and Fatso rolled their eyes. He kept saying gentleman all day long, but he was actually more cunning than anyone else. I'm not talking to you, why are you interrupting? His lie was exposed, and the pangolin could not help but stare at the man and wolf angrily. Qin Feiyang pondered for a moment and nodded. It's not impossible to take you in. The pangolin perked up and hurriedly said, "What are your conditions? Just say it. I don't care how you usually mess around, but when your life is at stake, you have to be with us and advance and retreat together." Qin Feiyang said. The pangolin patted his chest and said solemnly, "Of course. It's useless to say this. I want to see your actions in the future. You have to remember this. If I can nurture you, I can also destroy you." Qin Feiyang said. The pangolin shrunk his neck and nodded. If there comes a day when this king really betrays everyone, you don't have to be polite. Just kill this king directly. If that really happens, it would be too easy for you to just kill you directly. At that time, you will have a taste of what it means to live a life worse than death. Wolf King sneered. No resentment, no regrets. The pangolin nodded and said firmly, word by word. All right then, go into seclusion in the castle and break through to the 9-star battle monarch realm before coming out. Qin Feiyang waved his hand and sent the pangolin into the castle. Fatso said, "Boss, how do you plan to deal with the Dong family?" Wolf King shouted, "Nonsense, of course I'll kill them all. Do you think it's realistic?" Fatso rolled his eyes. No matter how wrong the Dong family was, it was still one of the most powerful families in the city. Even if the mansion master agreed, they did not have the ability to do so. Let's ask about the situation first. Qin Feiyang took out the image crystal and sent a message to Yan Nanshan. Soon, Yan Nanshan's illusory figure appeared. Seeing that it was Qin Feiyang, Yan Nanshan immediately roared, "Bastard, you still know to send me a message." Qin Feiyang smiled embarrassedly. "What are you laughing at? Is it very funny? You've been missing for 7 months. Do you know how worried I was? I was afraid that something would happen to you. Every morning, I would send you a message on time. What are you doing? Why don't you respond and tell me that you're safe? Are you that busy?" Yan Nanshan immediately let loose a torrent of curses. Qin Feiyang smiled bitterly. He did not interrupt. He would talk after Yan Nanshan was done scolding him. In fact, he was very touched in his heart. Because the more Yan Nanshan scolded him, the more it meant that he cared about him. After scolding him for more than 100 breaths, Yan Nanshan finally calmed down and asked, "Tell me, where have you been for the past 7 months? It's a long story. When I return to the sacred palace, I'll tell you slowly. Tell me about the Dong family first." Qin Feiyang said with a smile. "The Dong family has been causing trouble for 2 months. Seeing that you didn't appear for a long time, they slowly stopped. Now everyone thinks that you're dead. The treasure pavilion has already cancelled the ban on the Liu family. But now that you've suddenly appeared, I'm afraid the Dong family will cause trouble again. Yan Nanshan looked a little worried. Chapter 405. Seeing Qin Feiyang so confident, Yan Nanshan let out a sigh of relief and asked, "Do you have a plan?" Qin Feiyang replied, "Uncle Yan, I want you to spread the news of my appearance." Spread? Yan Nanshan frowned. "It's not to spread, just to tell Steward Dong." At this point, Qin Feiyang hesitated for a bit, then smiled faintly. "Forget it, I'll arrange it myself. You just wait for my good news in the temple." Yan Nanshan rolled his eyes. What a flaunting brat. "But then again, I don't have time to meddle in your business." "No time?" Qin Feiyang was stunned. Wasn't managing the resource hall very free? Yan Nanshan replied, "You still don't know, but the temple's great gathering has already begun. I have to supervise them." "The temple's great gathering?" Qin Feiyang, Fatso, and Wolf King looked at each other, their eyes full of doubt. "What kind of competition is this? Didn't it start a month ago? Why hasn't it ended yet?" Qin Feiyang asked suspiciously. "How can it be so fast? All temple's disciples can participate, but there's only one arena. The top 100 have only just been decided. I'm afraid it'll be half a month before the end of the competition." "Right, the rewards this time are pretty good. Why don't you all participate too?" Yan Nanshan said. Fatso's eyes lit up, asking, "What rewards?" "First place, a potential pill. Second place, a high-grade auxiliary battle art. Third place, a high-grade slaughter battle art. Fourth to 10th place, all of them are mid-grade battle arts. And the top 10, as long as they break through to the Combat Emperor stage, can directly enter the Inner Temple. That's equivalent to getting a reserved spot in the Inner Temple in advance." Yan Nanshan smiled. Wolf King said disdainfully, "TCH, and I thought it was some kind of reward?" Fatty chimed in, "That's more like it's enough to get rid of beggars." Yan Nanshan's face twitched. "You're not satisfied with a superior battle art?" Qin Feiyang asked, "Where did the potential pill come from? Didn't you give Zhenbao Pavilion 2 last time? The Liu family got one, and so did our temple." Yan Nanshan said. Fatso pursed his lips and said, "It's something that we don't want, but they treat it as a treasure." "How funny." Yan Nanshan could not help but smile bitterly. The potential elixir was something that even he yearned for, let alone the disciples of the temple. However, the three little bastards had looks of disdain on their faces. How could he, and the rest of the world, endure such an attitude? Yan Nanshan said helplessly, "This is too much of a blow. I'm not going to talk to you guys anymore. If there's anything, send me a message." Qin Feiyang hurriedly said, "Uncle Yan, wait a moment. Give me the coordinates of the Dong family." "Coordinates?" Yan Nanshan looked at him suspiciously. After telling Qin Feiyang the coordinates, he turned off the image crystal. Fatso chuckled, then suddenly frowned and asked, "Boss, didn't you give Yan Nanshan the potential elixir?" Qin Feiyang thought for a while and said, "I think I only gave him the Juku Yellow Dragon elixir. I didn't give him the potential elixir. He's so good to us. Now that we can't use up the potential elixir, we might as well help him open the door of potential." Fatso said. "I wouldn't agree with the others, but I agree with Yan Nanshan." Wolf King said. "I didn't think of it before. When we go back, I'll give it to him immediately." Qin Feiyang nodded. Speaking of this, he suddenly thought of someone. Battle Chi surged into the image crystal. Soon, a beautiful figure appeared. She was Ren Wuxuang. As soon as she saw Qin Feiyang, Ren Wuxuang's beautiful eyes widened. She said in surprise, "Feiyang, is it really you?" Qin Feiyang smiled and said, "Sis, it's only been a few months since we last met. Why don't you recognize me?" "Bastard brat," Ren Wuxiang was furious. Without a doubt. Qin Feiyang was fiercely reprimanded again. A moment later. Qin Feiyang looked at Ren Wuxiang helplessly and said, "Sis, are you done scolding? If you're done scolding, let's talk about business." "Not enough. Tell me the coordinates and I'll go find you immediately." Ren Wuxiang gritted her teeth. Qin Feiyang's heart skipped a beat. The tigress was about to flip out. Cough cough. He coughed dryly and asked, "Sis, have you taken the Juku Yellow Dragon Elixir?" "What? You want to go back?" "No way, don't try to change the topic, give me the coordinates." Ren Wuxiang shouted angrily, her two pure white hands were clenched into fists, and her eyes were extremely ferocious. "No, what I mean is, if you didn't take it, I'll give you another Juku Yellow Dragon Elixir." Qin Feiyang smiled apologetically, not mentioning a single word about the coordinates. "Why do you have to give it to me separately?" Ren Wuxiang frowned. Qin Feiyang said helplessly, "Can you answer me first?" Ren Wuxiang said, "I'm going to take it when I'm an 8-star War Emperor, so the Juku Yellow Dragon Elixir is still here." Qin Feiyang asked, "Then how many stars of War Emperor are you now?" Ren Wuxiang said, 2 stars. "You only broke through 1 star?" Qin Feiyang was stunned. He remembered that when he came out of the ruins, Ren Wuxiang was a 1-star War Emperor. Counting carefully, more than a year had passed since then, but when he thought of this, Qin Feiyang's face revealed a bitter smile. It wasn't easy to break through every small realm of the War Emperor realm. To break through a small realm in more than a year's time, for someone who hadn't unlocked the door of potential, it was simply impossible. This was enough to show that Ren Wuxiang's talent was extremely astonishing. If it wasn't for the fact that she had been delayed in the ruins for so many years, she might already be a war master. "Give the Juku Yellow Dragon Elixir on you to the Lion-Head Eagle. After I finish dealing with the matters at hand and return to the temple, I'll give you another one." After Qin Feiyang finished speaking, he immediately turned off the image crystal, so as to avoid being lectured any further. Fatso gloated, "Boss, so you have someone you're afraid of? You dare to say that you're not afraid of her?" Qin Feiyang rolled his eyes at him, and said in a deep voice, "I'll give you a mission." "Speak." Fatso's face turned solemn, and he immediately put away his playful heart. Qin Feiyang said, "Disguise yourself and go to the Dong family, bring Steward Dong here for me, but it's best not to alert anyone else. It's a small matter." Fatso smiled confidently, consumed an illusory form pill, and turned into a middle-aged brawny man. He then opened a teleportation gate and quickly left. Qin Feiyang and Wolf King discussed for a moment, then sat cross-legged on the ground and closed their eyes to meditate. In front of the Dong family's main gate. Shua. Fatso appeared out of thin air. "Who are you?" The 4 guards shouted. They all had the strength of a 9-star war king. Fatso looked at the 2 sides of the street sneakily, and said in a low voice, "I want to see your butler." The 4 of them looked at each other with a trace of suspicion in their eyes. One of them asked, "Is there something you need from our butler?" "Of course there's something, and it's a big deal. Hurry up and bring me there. If there's any delay, none of you will have a good time." Fatso bellowed. Seeing his serious expression, the 4 guards were shocked. "Follow me." One of the guards immediately turned around and ran inside with Fatso. Not long after, the 2 of them arrived in front of a courtyard. Steward Dong was sitting in the courtyard, drinking tea and basking in the sun, looking extremely relaxed. The guard said respectfully, "Steward, this person is looking for you for an urgent matter." Steward Dong was slightly stunned. He turned to look at the 2 of them, and his eyes locked onto Fatso. He asked, "What is it?" Fatso looked at the guard and evaded. Steward Dong waved his hand and said, "You may leave." "Yes." The guard bowed and left. Steward Dong then said to Fatso, "Come in and talk." Fatso walked into the courtyard and said with a flattering smile, "Sir, this news is very important. You have to give me something in return before I can tell you." Steward Dong raised his eyebrows, put down the teapot, and said, "In the state capital, no one dares to negotiate with me." He paused for a moment and added, "However, if the information you say is indeed useful to me, I will consider giving you some compensation." Fatso said, "Qin Feiyang." What? Steward Dong could not sit still when he heard this name. Fatso said, "When I was hunting outside the city, I saw Qin Feiyang and that ruffian wolf. Where are they?" Steward Dong grabbed Fatso's clothes, his old eyes flashing with a shocking cold light. "This, sir, look." Fatso rubbed his fingers, his face full of flattery. Steward Dong frowned and let go. "Are you sure it's them? You have to know that lying to me will cost you your life." Fatso nodded. "I dare to use my head to guarantee it." Overjoyed, Steward Dong laughed. "All right, follow me to meet the family head immediately. At that time, the family head will definitely reward you handsomely." Don't. Fatso said hurriedly. "What do you mean?" Steward Dong frowned. "Sir, think about it. If you tell the Dong family head now, you won't get any credit. On the contrary, if Milord were to first capture Qin Feiyang and that ruffian wolf, and then deliver them to the Dong family's patriarch, that would be a great merit." Fatso said. "Ah." Steward Dong looked at Fatso in surprise and laughed. "I didn't expect you to be so smart." He. Fatso smiled obsequiously. "I only hope that you can take care of me in the future, sir. All right, after this matter is done, you can stay by my side. I'll guarantee you a meteoric rise." Steward Dong laughed. However, a cold killing intent flashed through the depths of his old eyes. "Thank you, sir." The fatty bowed and said with a smile, as if he was overwhelmed by the favor and moved to tears. Steward Dong said, "Take me there quickly." Fatso immediately told Steward Dong the coordinates of the valley. Steward Dong took out a teleportation door and quickly opened it. Then he grabbed Fatso and walked in. In the next moment, the two of them descended into the valley. When he saw Qin Feiyang sitting cross-legged not far in front of him, his entire body suddenly emitted a monstrous killing intent. Qin Feiyang's expression changed drastically. He suddenly stood up, looked at Steward Dong in shock and anger, and said in disbelief, "How did you find this place?" But if one looked carefully, they would notice that his left hand was hidden in his sleeve. Steward Dong sneered, "Even if you hide to the ends of the earth, you can't escape from this old man's palm. What do you want?" Qin Feiyang said angrily. "What do you think? You killed the third young master, of course you have to pay with your blood." Steward Dong laughed sinisterly. "Bullshit. Back then, it was clearly you and Dong Zheng who wanted to take the opportunity to kill me. Now you're biting back. Do you have any shame?" Qin Feiyang shouted angrily. "So what? Now everyone only knows that you killed the third young master. Even if you tell the truth, no one will believe you. Even the sacred temple can't protect you now. Don't struggle, obediently follow this old man, maybe you can save your life, or leave an intact corpse." The corner of Steward Dong's mouth raised, with a hint of ridicule. He, Qin Feiyang laughed. Wolf King also laughed. Chapter 406. When Steward Dong saw this situation, a sense of unease rose in his heart. "Thank you very much. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to clear my name," Qin Feiyang said with a chuckle. He stretched out his hand that was hidden in his sleeve. There was an image crystal in his hand. "Damn it!" Butler Dong's expression changed. Hee, do you think Fat Lord will be so kind as to let you go? Fatso laughed sinisterly. He took the facial restoration pill and quickly regained his original appearance. It's you. Butler Dong's gaze trembled. Only now did he realize that this was a trap. Your words just now are enough to ruin the Dong family's reputation. But then again, you're an old fox. Why are you so stupid? Fatso laughed mockingly. Steward Dong's aged hands were tightly clenched together. But suddenly, he laughed again. So what if I have evidence? With the strength of you little bastards, do you think you can make it back to the city alive? Boom! After saying that, a powerful aura roared out from his body. He took a step forward, carrying a murderous aura, and charged towards the two men and the wolf. Qin Feiyang's pupils shrank. He asked, "How's your strength?" "2-star combat emperor." Wolf King grinned. A butler is a 2-star combat emperor. The Dong family's strength should not be underestimated. Fatso, take some time to investigate the Dong family and the Xiao family. Qin Feiyang whispered. He knew the basic situation of the Lu family, but he knew nothing about the Dong family and the Xiao family. Understood. Fatso nodded. Investigate us? Huh, wait until you're alive. Butler Dong laughed out of anger. In the face of his attack, the two men and the wolf did not run away. Instead, they spoke with conviction. They simply did not put him in their eyes. Old thing, if you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Wolf King's eyes flashed fiercely. He used the air escape step and arrived in front of Butler Dong at lightning speed. He clawed at his chest. Puff! Butler Dong immediately spat out a mouthful of blood. His old body flew out horizontally and smashed into a huge mountain behind him. Rumble! A huge hole immediately appeared on the mountain peak. Don't kill him. Qin Feiyang said. Whoosh! Wolf King turned into a streak of light and flew into the hole. He then grabbed Butler Dong and flew out. However, at this moment, Steward Dong had completely lost his previous arrogance. His hair was disheveled, his face dirty, and his entire chest caved in. Blood continued to flow from the corner of his mouth. His old face was also filled with disbelief. It had only been 7 months. How had this ruffian wolf become so strong? Qin Feiyang said, "Cripple him." Old bastard, you didn't think that you would have a day like this, did you? Fatso sneered. He took out a dagger and stabbed it into Steward Dong's chi. Ah! The heart-wrenching pain caused Butler Dong to howl miserably. Fatso took out another healing pill and threw it into Butler Dong's mouth to keep him alive. Wolf King threw Butler Dong to the ground and asked, "Little Qin Zi, what's next?" "Let's go to the treasure pavilion first and find Yin Yuanming." Qin Feiyang put away the image crystal and sent Butler Dong into the ancient castle. Then, he opened a teleportation door. Then, 2 people and a wolf strode in. East City. The lounge of the treasure pavilion. 2 people and a wolf appeared out of thin air. Qin Feiyang glanced around the lounge. Everything was still the same as before. There were no changes at all. But Yin Yuanming was not in the lounge. Fatso said, "Fat Lord, go find him." "No need. Anyway, we're not in a hurry now. Let's wait for a while." Qin Feiyang shook his head, walked to the tea table, and boiled water to make tea as if it was his own home. In fact, he didn't want others to know that he had returned too early. Because it was too boring. It was fine if he didn't make a move, but once he made a move, he would amaze the world. At the same time, in the VIP room, Yin Yuanming and Patriarch Lu sat opposite each other. Yin Yuanming made tea and smiled. "Patriarch Lu, why are you here in person?" Patriarch Lu said, this patriarch is here to discuss something with Steward Yin face to face. Yin Yuanming raised his eyebrows and smiled. Patriarch Lu, just say what you want to say. All right then, I won't beat around the bush. I hope that in the future, all the herbs purchased by the Lu family in the treasure pavilion will be half price. Butler Lu said with a smile. Half price. Yin Yuanming's eyes trembled, and a strong anger surged in his heart. Since the ban was lifted, the Lu family didn't restrain themselves. Instead, they took the opportunity to threaten the treasure pavilion. Qin Feiyang went missing, so no one provided the treasure pavilion with supreme-grade elixirs. And in the entire city, only Murong Jing and Lu Xingchen were supreme-grade alchemists. Murong Jing never refined elixirs to outsiders. So now the treasure pavilion could only count on Lu Xingchen. Patriarch Lu saw this point and came to threaten the treasure pavilion. If they didn't give a discount, the Lu family would refuse to provide supreme-grade elixirs to the treasure pavilion. The treasure pavilion had no choice but to give them a 10% discount. But unexpectedly, the Lu family wasn't satisfied and still wanted half price. This was simply a loss-making business. Manager Yin, don't look so unhappy. Yuzhenbao Pavilion asked for this. If you didn't ban the Lu family back then, I wouldn't be making things difficult for you now. There was a faint smile on Patriarch Lu's face, looking immensely pleased with himself. Butler Yin held back his anger and shook his head. Half price is impossible. At most, I'll give the Lu family a 15% discount. Patriarch Lu said, if I say half price, then it's half price. There's no room for negotiation. Don't go too far. Butler Yin stood up abruptly, and the anger in his heart exploded. This patriarch learned it from you. Back then, the Lu family had begged you a lot, but did you lift the ban on the treasure pavilion? If it wasn't for that little bastard Qin Feiyang's mysterious death, I'm afraid your precious treasure pavilion would still be banning my Lu clan. Patriarch Lu sneered. Phew. Butler Yin clenched his fists and took a deep breath. I can't make this decision. I need to discuss it with the pavilion leader first. Then take your time to discuss it. I'll wait for your decision. Clan leader Lu said indifferently. Then, he got up and left with a bright smile. Damn bastard. If that bastard Qin Feiyang was still alive, the Lu family would have a chance to be arrogant. After Patriarch Lu left, Yin Yuanming couldn't help but hit the tea table angrily. Crack. The tea table broke. At this time, Qin Jie walked into the VIP room and said in a low voice, Butler, we can't let the Lu family continue to be so arrogant. Butler Yin said, how was your talk with Murong Jing? Qin Jie shook her head. The treasure pavilion didn't want to be passive either. Therefore, Yin Yuanming asked Qin Jie to find Murong Jing and persuade her to cooperate with the treasure pavilion no matter what. But no matter what Qin Jie said, Murong Jing was unwilling to cooperate. What should we do now? Yin Yuanming sat on the chair weakly, his face full of worry. If only Qin Feiyang wasn't dead. Qin Jie sighed. Don't count on a dead man. Continue to find Murong Jing. No matter what it takes, you have to make her agree. I'm going to rest for a while. Yin Yuanming got up and walked to the lounge. His old face was full of fatigue. When he came to the lounge, he was stunned. Why was there a sound in the lounge? How dare you barge in without my permission? How dare you? He had been suppressing a bellyful of anger. Now that he saw someone barging in, he couldn't control his anger. Bang! He kicked the door open and yelled, you guys are too audacious, But the next moment, he froze. Qin Feiyang, Fatso, and Wolf King looked up and were stunned. Why did he look so angry? Manager, what's wrong? Qin Jie heard the noise and immediately ran over in surprise. When she came to the door and saw two people and a wolf in the lounge, she was also stunned. "Manager, Miss Jie, what's going on?" "Soon." A few more guards ran over in a hurry. Yin Yuanming shivered and came back to his senses. He hurriedly said, "Nothing, nothing, you can leave." The guards stopped and looked at each other. Yin Yuanming said, "Also, tell them that I'm going to entertain the guests and not see anyone." "Yes." The guards responded respectfully, bowing and retreating with their heads full of doubts. Yin Yuanming stepped into the lounge and said, "Jie, close the door." Bang! Qin Jie closed the door and stood beside Yin Yuanming, looking at the two people and the wolf in disbelief. Was this a dream? Qin Feiyang picked up the teacup and tasted it. He smiled faintly and said, "There's no need to be so surprised when old friends meet." Yin Yuanming ignored him and whispered, "Jie, pinch me and see if I'm seeing things." "Is this okay?" Qin Jie was stunned. "Hurry up!" Yin Yuanming shouted. Qin Jie reached out and pinched Yin Yuanming's arm hard. Gasp! Immediately, Yin Yuanming gasped in pain. But the pain was instantly replaced by ecstasy. It was not a dream. It was real. This bastard brat was back. He stepped in front of Qin Feiyang and was about to speak. But at this moment, Qin Jie walked up and whispered a few words in his ear. "Makes sense." Yin Yuanming nodded and quickly took out a Heaven's Eye stone. He said to Qin Feiyang, "Come and verify your identity." Puff! Qin Feiyang spat out the tea in his mouth and his face twitched. Qin Jie said, "Young Master Qin, this is sudden. We have to confirm it. Please understand." "All right." Qin Feiyang stood up and pressed his arm on the Heaven's Eye stone. A moment later, the Heaven's Eye stone did not move at all. Qin Feiyang did not change either. It was enough to prove that the person in front of him was really Qin Feiyang, who had been missing for 7 months. "Brat, you're finally back. Where have you been fooling around for the past 6 months?" Yin Yuanming was so excited that his body was trembling. Qin Jie was the same. Chapter 407. Steward Yin, you're not young. You need to be steady. We won't be responsible if you die of exhaustion because of too much excitement. Fatso sneered. Get lost. I'm still young. How can I die of exhaustion? Don't curse me. Yin Yuanming's face darkened as he glared at Fatso. You're still young? Fatso was speechless. Yin Yuanming said, "Don't change the topic. Tell me, where have you been in the past few months? It's a long story. I'm afraid it won't be finished even after 10 days and nights. Are you sure you want us to tell you?" Fatso grinned. Yin Yuanming and Qin Jie looked at each other with a hint of surprise in their eyes. Qin Jie said, "By the way, steward, are we still going to find Murong Jing?" "Huh, is there a need?" Yin Yuanming laughed heartily. "Indeed, there's no need." Qin Jie smiled and squatted beside the tea table to make tea. Yin Yuanming sat down beside Qin Feiyang and looked at the two men and the wolf. He said, "Since you can't finish in a short time, let's not talk about it. Okay, let's get back to business." Fatso nodded and asked, "Why did you lift the ban on the Liu family?" "I knew you would ask, but you can't blame me." Yin Yuanming sighed. If the ban was not lifted, the supreme-grade pills would have been out of stock. For the treasure pavilion, it was absolutely intolerable to run out of stock. Qin Feiyang, who had been silent, finally put down the teacup. "Let's not talk about the past. You said you were looking for Murong Jing. What's going on?" Qin Feiyang asked. "It's all because of the Liu family. Yin Yuanming immediately blew his beard and glared. Immediately. He recounted what had happened in detail. Fatso sneered, "The Lu family is really arrogant." Yin Yuanming said, "Not only the Lu family, but the Zheng and Wang families are also colluding with the Lu family." Fatso asked suspiciously, "Which Zheng family and Wang family?" Yin Yuanming said, "It's Zheng Chuan and Wang Fei's family." "They still haven't been honest?" Fatso frowned. "When you were in the capital, they were very obedient. However, once he heard that you all had died outside, he immediately jumped up. Moreover, he told everyone he met that they deserved to die outside and that even death couldn't wipe out their crimes." Yin Yuanming said. "Then let's make them unable to jump." A cold light flashed in Fatso's eyes. Qin Feiyang shook his head and said, "No, since they have not learned their lesson, let them disappear from the continent's capital." Qin Diei shuddered. Although the Wang clan and the Zheng clan couldn't be compared to the Lu clan, they were still considered famous first-rate clans. There were also many war emperors in the clan. Even Zhenbao Pavilion didn't dare to casually ask them to disappear. However, not only did that person mention it, he even spoke of it so casually. It was as if he was describing a very, very ordinary matter. This guy really hadn't changed at all. Domineering. Confidence. It made people feel fear from the bottom of their hearts. No. He was scarier than before. Now that Qin Feiyang was back, Yin Yuanming also felt more confident. He asked, "What are your plans? What do you think?" Qin Feiyang asked back. "You brat, can you not throw a problem at me every time?" Yin Yuanming was a little angry. Obviously, this guy wanted him to make the decision first. Qin Feiyang smiled and said, "Of course, there must be sincerity in a cooperation. No matter what he did, he had to seize the initiative first. Now, it wasn't that he needed Zhenbao Pavilion, but Zhenbao Pavilion needed him. He couldn't speak first. Of course. As long as Zhenbao Pavilion showed sincerity, he wouldn't be stingy." Yin Yuanming glared at him fiercely. After pondering for a while, Yin Yuanming made up his mind and turned to Qin Diei, saying, "Immediately give the order to ban the Lu clan, Dong clan, Zheng clan, and Wang clan." "Ban the Dong clan too?" Qin Diei was surprised. "Ban them." Yin Yuanming nodded. "Phew." Qin Diei took a deep breath, got up and left quickly. Yin Yuanming said, "Brat, are you satisfied with Zhenbao Pavilion's sincerity?" Qin Feiyang took out a Juku yellow dragon pill and placed it on the tea table. He smiled and said, "Are you satisfied with my sincerity?" "What? This, how can there be so many pill patterns?" Yin Yuanming stood up suddenly, his eyes filled with disbelief. "This pill is called Juku Yellow Dragon Pill. It can help Battle King and Battle Emperor break through 5 small realms." Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. As soon as these words came out, Yin Yuanming was like a bolt from the blue, his body and mind trembled. Qin Feiyang said, "This is for you as a gift for meeting again, but remember, don't tell anyone, and don't auction it." "For me?" Yin Yuanming was stunned and said in surprise, "Can it really break through 5 small realms? White-Eyed Wolf has personally tested it." Qin Feiyang laughed. Yin Yuanming looked at Wolf King, and Wolf King cooperated and released his aura. 5-star Battle Emperor. Yin Yuanming's eyes trembled, and the shock in his heart could no longer be described with words. Too shocking. This was too exciting. He put it away as if he had obtained a treasure. No. This was a treasure. If this pill were to spread, it would definitely cause a bloodbath in the spiritual state. Qin Feiyang stood up and smiled. "As for the other pills, wait for me to return to the Holy Palace and I will immediately refine them for you." Yin Yuanming was stunned and hurriedly said, you're leaving just like that? Fatso chuckled and said, are you still planning to treat us to a drink? Yin Yuanming said, isn't that obvious? I haven't seen you for more than half a year, of course I have to give you a welcoming party. Forget about the welcoming party. After all, I just came back, and there are still many things to deal with. Qin Feiyang smiled and took out a teleportation gate. Wait. Yin Yuanming reached out to grab him and frowned, you're going back to the Holy Palace like this? Why? Qin Feiyang was puzzled. Yin Yuanming said in a deep voice, the Dong family is not to be trifled with. They will definitely attack you as soon as they see you. Now Qin Feiyang was the god of wealth of the precious treasure pavilion, and no accidents could happen to him. Don't worry, as long as the Dong family doesn't mess with us, we will let them jump around for a few more days. But if they do, we will ruin their reputation today. Fatso smiled coldly. Qin Feiyang waved his hand and opened the teleportation gate. 2 men and 1 wolf walked in one after another. Meanwhile, the ban of the precious treasure pavilion was like a plague, quickly spreading in the eastern city. What's going on this time? Not only the Lu family, the Wang family, the Zheng family, and even the Dong family are banned? Strange, wasn't the precious treasure pavilion polite to the Lu family a while ago? Why did they suddenly turn hostile? If they offend the Lu family, no one will provide the precious treasure pavilion with supreme-grade pills. Who gave the precious treasure pavilion such confidence? The entire eastern city was in an uproar in an instant. And this explosive news was quickly spreading to the western city, northern city, southern city, and central city. In the lounge. As soon as the 2 men and 1 wolf left, a woman in purple clothes walked in. Yin Yuanming cupped his hands and said, greetings, pavilion master. What's going on? The woman in purple clothes frowned. She rushed over as soon as she received the news of the ban. Because this matter was too big, she couldn't sit back and do nothing. Yin Yuanming first closed the door, then walked to the woman in purple clothes and took out the Juku yellow dragon pill. This is, the woman in purple clothes' eyes lit up. Pavilion master, Qin Feiyang has returned. This medicinal pill was given to me by him. Yin Yuanming said excitedly. When did he come back? Where is he now? The woman in purple clothes was surprised. Yin Yuanming said, he just left. The woman in purple clothes frowned and said, why didn't you inform me? I was too happy and forgot about it. Yin Yuanming smiled embarrassedly. He's not dead. This is interesting. The woman in purple clothes' red lips lifted slightly and asked, what's the effect of this pill? I heard from Qin Feiyang that it's very shocking. I'm a 5-star combat emperor now. Why don't I give it a try? Yin Yuanming hesitated and threw the Juku yellow dragon pill into his mouth. Bang! Not long after, his aura skyrocketed. The woman in purple clothes' eyes lit up. She waved her jade-like hand lightly and battle chi emerged, sealing Yin Yuanming's aura. In the end, Yin Yuanming soared all the way to the 9-star combat emperor before stopping. Can it really work? Yin Yuanming was stunned. He could even clearly feel that he could enter the 1-star combat ancestor at any time. The woman in purple clothes was also stunned. At the same time, Patriarch Lu returned home. Before he could sit down, housekeeper Lu found him and told him about the ban of Zhenbao Pavilion. Impossible. Without Qin Feiyang, how can Zhenbao Pavilion ban us? Even if they had a few guts, they wouldn't dare. Is there a mistake in your information? Patriarch Lu's face was filled with disbelief. Right now, it's spreading like wildfire everywhere. It's definitely not wrong. Housekeeper Lu shook his head. Immediately, Patriarch Lu flew into a rage and roared, damned bastard, what the hell are they doing? Housekeeper Lu frowned and said, "Could it be because of the conditions you proposed earlier that angered them?" "That's not right. If it was because I angered them, they would only ban my Lu family. It's impossible for them to ban the Zheng, Wang, and Dong families as well. There must be something fishy about this. Quickly go and check it out. The sooner the better." Patriarch Lu said. "All right." Housekeeper Lu nodded and quickly left. "Who is playing tricks?" Patriarch Lu frowned. He couldn't figure it out even after racking his brains. As for the Zheng, Wang, and Dong families, they were also confused. Temple. Alchemy Room Number 2. 2 men and a wolf appeared out of thin air. "We're back." Qin Feiyang looked at the familiar scene in front of him and felt a myriad of emotions in his heart. "Hey! When everyone sees us return, their expressions will be very interesting," Fatso said playfully. Qin Feiyang smiled and walked into the alchemy room. The smile on his face suddenly froze. On the stone table, there was actually an alchemy furnace. On the furnace, there was a faint layer of treasure light. Wolf King and Fatso's eyes also darkened. The alchemy room was actually occupied by someone. Wolf King said, "If I remember correctly, this alchemy furnace should be Lu Ziyuan's." Fatso frowned and said, "Wasn't he chased out of the temple? Zhenbao Pavilion will lift the ban on the Lu family. It's not strange that the temple will recall the disciples of the Lu family. However, not everyone is qualified to occupy my alchemy room." Chapter 408. Wolf King said fiercely, let's go cripple that bastard right now. Do you know where he is? If it were up to me, we would just sit here and wait for him to deliver himself to us." Fatso laughed sinisterly. Wolf King said disdainfully, "TSK, waiting for rabbits is not my character. I think you want to go out and behave atrociously." Fatso had a look of disdain on his face. "Yeah. You damned fatty, do you have to go against this big brother of yours? Do you believe that I won't beat you up?" Wolf King stared at him unkindly. "Aren't you guys annoying?" Qin Feiyang glared at them angrily, and said, "Fatso, hurry up and organize the treasures of the 4 great tribes. White-eyed Wolf, you go and help as well." "Not going." Wolf King shook his head. "It's not up to you to decide." Qin Feiyang waved his hand and sent the man and the wolf into the castle. Next. He looked at the pill furnace, the corner of his mouth raised slightly, and took out an illusory form pill, casually changing its appearance. Then he took out the clothes of a temple disciple, and after putting them on, he opened the stone door of the alchemy room and walked out. "Who are you? Why are you in Senior Brother Lu's alchemy room?" 2 young men were coincidentally in the corridor outside. Upon seeing Qin Feiyang, the 2 of them frowned and questioned. Qin Feiyang glanced at the 2 of them. The 2 of them looked very familiar. It was 2 of the 6 9th level mental strength S. Qin Feiyang was puzzled. Isn't this Senior Brother Qin's alchemy room? When did it become Senior Brother Lu's? Senior Brother Qin? Are you talking about Qin Feiyang? The 2 of them were stunned. Qin Feiyang nodded. Haha, that little bastard died a long time ago. Are you a new disciple? Let me tell you, don't mention his name in front of us in the future. Otherwise, you will have to bear the consequences. The 2 of them sneered. A cold light flashed in Qin Feiyang's eyes as he said, "All right, I will definitely not mention it again. May I know the names of the 2 senior martial brothers?" Jia Gao. He Shan. We're both at the 9th level of spiritual power. Also, don't come up here without our permission in the future. The 2 of them spoke arrogantly with their nostrils pointing to the sky. Understood. Qin Feiyang nodded and walked past the 2 of them. Jia Gao, He Shan, he muttered to himself as he silently memorized these two names. A short while later, Qin Feiyang walked out of the Pill Fire Palace. Elder D and Elder Li were still guarding the two sides of the gate. Qin Feiyang smiled at the two of them. He then entered the plaza and walked towards a small path. The two of them were slightly stunned as they looked suspiciously at Qin Feiyang's back. When did this disciple come? Why don't I have any recollection of it? By the time they wanted to ask, Qin Feiyang had already entered the small path and disappeared from their sight. Qin Feiyang wanted to go to the martial arts practice field. The temple's great gathering was not over yet, so Lu Ziyuan should be at the martial stage. However, finding Lu Ziyuan was only secondary. What he really wanted to do was to use this opportunity to announce his, Qin Feiyang's, official return. On the way, Qin Feiyang encountered many temple's disciples, all discussing the temple's great gathering. He was not in a hurry, but silently listened to the discussions. Gradually, he got a general idea. The temple's great gathering was very complicated. The first step was the knockout round. The second step was to decide the top 500. The third step was to decide the top 100. The fourth step was the final battle, where the top 10 would fight for the champion's throne. Qin Feiyang shook his head. Such a troublesome competition, even if he was given a few billion, he would not be interested in participating. If he had the time, he might as well cultivate. Half an hour passed. He finally arrived at the martial stage. The martial stage was very large, occupying an area of several thousand feet. There was a sea of people all around, and the noise was incessant. On the left edge of the martial stage, there were 5 seats. 2 men and 2 women were sitting on them. 2 of them were Lu Yun and Shi Ming. Qin Feiyang stood at the back of the crowd, with a trace of doubt in his eyes. Lu Yun and Shi Ming were the temple's enforcement elders, so it was reasonable for them to sit there. But what qualifications did the other man and woman have to sit beside them? He looked at the woman. The woman looked very young, about 24 or 25 years old. She was wearing a purple dress, and was rather tall. Her skin was as white as snow, and there was a beauty mole between her eyebrows. But the aura she exuded was not very strong, at most a 5-star or 6-star war emperor. Compared to Lu Yun and Shi Ming, she could not be compared at all. Qin Feiyang's gaze turned, and looked at the man again. The man was also very young. He wore a fitting purple robe, and his eyebrows were like swords. His temperament was quite extraordinary. The man and woman's demeanors were somewhat old. Their eyes were also filled with a kind of contempt and arrogance. Why does he look a little familiar? Qin Feiyang looked at the purple-clothed youth with a trace of doubt in his eyes. He was sure that he had seen this person somewhere before, but he could not recall where. Bam! 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 On the stage, 2 temple disciples were fighting. They both had the strength of a 5-star war monarch. The 2 of them used their own methods, and it was difficult to tell who was the winner. It was quite interesting. Qin Feiyang watched for a while, then shifted his gaze to the other side. There stood a middle-aged man. He looked at the entire audience with a serious face, and there was a great sense of majesty. Qin Feiyang's face revealed a trace of a smile. Because this person was Yan Nanshan. Qin Feiyang squeezed into the crowd. There were too many people, and they were almost touching each other. By the time he squeezed to the first row, his body was drenched in sweat. Suddenly, he looked to the right. There was a group of young men and women with outstanding temperaments. There were a total of more than 20 people. They were like cranes in a flock of chickens, and they were extremely dazzling. The temple disciples behind them did not dare to get close to them, and there was a trace of obvious fear in their eyes. Lu Ziyuan, Xiaohong, Dongqing, Dongfangyu, Xiaojian, and the other 4 young men and women with level 9 mind power were among them. As for the others, Qin Feiyang was unfamiliar with them. Ah! Accompanied by a scream, the battle on the stage was finally decided. The person who lost left the stage dejectedly. The person who won had a smile on his face. However, when he looked at Lu Ziyuan and the others, his expression suddenly dimmed. What's the use of winning now? Sooner or later, we will be defeated by those monsters. That person shook his head and sighed, then left the martial arts arena as well. Next round, Lu Ziyuan and Zhang Ren, please enter the martial arts arena immediately. Yan Nanshan shouted. Dong Cheng smiled and said, Senior brother Lu, it's your turn. You must perform well. Is there a need? With senior brother Lu's current strength, he can finish Zhang Ren in a few moves. Xiao Hong had a look of disdain. An ant will be an ant after all. Lu Ziyuan smiled contemptuously and jumped up. With a suave turn, he landed on the martial arts arena. So handsome. Senior brother Lu not only has an extraordinary talent in alchemy, but his martial arts talent is also not inferior to anyone. Most importantly, he has a family background. How great would it be if I could marry him? The surrounding disciples all looked at him with admiration. Some of the girls were even more exaggerated. They could not wait to run up and offer themselves to him. There was a girl behind Qin Feiyang. She looked at Lu Ziyuan with infatuation, and her saliva was about to flow out. Qin Feiyang turned to look at her and said speechlessly, Is it that exaggerated? What do you know? A little tramp like you will never be able to compare to senior brother Lu. The girl glared at him fiercely. Qin Feiyang was stunned. He then shook his head and did not argue with the girl. At this moment, another short young man in black walked up to the martial arts arena hesitantly. There was a deep fear in his eyes as he looked at Lu Ziyuan. Lu Ziyuan smiled disdainfully and said impatiently, Zhang Ren, hurry up. Don't waste my time. The black-clothed youth's body trembled, and he almost fell to the ground. Is there a need to be so afraid? Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows. Although the young man in black was small, his strength was not bad. He was a 5-star battle monarch. If he dared to fight with his life on the line, it was not as if he had no chance of winning. Because Lu Ziyuan was only a 7-star battle monarch. Lu Ziyuan became more and more impatient. He waved his hand and said, just admit defeat and stop competing. I really don't understand. Why would a piece of trash like you participate in the competition? Isn't it a waste of a spot? He added. His eyes were full of disdain. The surrounding crowd also roared with laughter. After being humiliated repeatedly, Zhang Ren could not help but clench his fists tightly. Especially when he heard the laughter around him, it made him extremely ashamed and angry. All of a sudden, he looked up at Lu Ziyuan and roared, What are you so arrogant for? If Qin Feiyang was still here, I'm afraid you wouldn't even have the chance to participate in the competition. As soon as the 3 words Qin Feiyang appeared, the entire place fell into a dead silence. Everyone's face was solemn. Even their breathing became heavy. Qin Feiyang. He was a legend. Unfortunately, the legend has fallen. The girl behind Qin Feiyang sighed. Qin Feiyang was stunned. He turned to look at the girl and asked curiously, You know Qin Feiyang too? Of course. I'm not the only one who knows him. Everyone in the city knows him. No. His name is already famous in the spiritual state. Everyone knows him. Unfortunately, the heavens are jealous of his talent. He died young. The girl shook her head. Just as she finished speaking, she frowned again. You don't know Qin Feiyang? You're really ignorant. The girl's face was full of disdain. Qin Feiyang shook his head and smiled bitterly. He turned to look at Lu Ziyuan. At this moment, Lu Ziyuan's face was so gloomy that it was about to drip water. He stared at Zhang Ren and said word by word, "I dare you to say it again. Am I wrong? When Qin Feiyang was still here, you were like a mouse that saw a cat. Now that Qin Feiyang is gone, you're arrogant and domineering. Have you heard of this saying? When the tiger is gone, the monkey will be king. It's talking about you." Zhang Ren mocked. "You're courting death." Lu Ziyuan's killing intent rose. Zhang Ren smiled coldly and looked at Yan Nanshan. He bowed and said, "Elder, I admit defeat." When he said those words, he did not intend to fight with Lu Ziyuan. His goal was to make Lu Ziyuan mad and humiliate him in public. At the same time, he could vent the anger in his heart. "Yes." Yan Nanshan nodded and shouted, "Lu Ziyuan, Zhang Ren has admitted defeat. You're not allowed to attack again." However, Lu Ziyuan turned a deaf ear. Bang! A gush of aura roared out of his body. Bang! He landed in front of Zhang Ren at lightning speed and sent Zhang Ren flying with a punch. 8-star combat king? Qin Feiyang was shocked. It turned out that Lu Ziyuan had broken through. No wonder he was so arrogant. Chapter 409. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed. He jumped up and landed on the martial arts practice field. Everyone was stunned. Whoosh! Qin Feiyang ignored him. With another dive, he rushed to the bottom of Zhang Ren like lightning. There was a loud bang. He stepped on the ground and jumped more than 10 meters high. His large hand shot out and grabbed Zhang Ren's arm. Then, he landed on the ground steadily. However, when he laid Zhang Ren flat on the ground, he found that Zhang Ren was dead. Lu Ziyuan's punch landed on Zhang Ren's chest. Not only was his chest caved in, but his heart was also broken. His attack was really vicious. At the same time, Lu Ziyuan saw that Zhang Ren was dead. Not only was he not apologetic, he even smirked. Then he looked at Qin Feiyang with cold eyes. How dare he interfere in his business? Was he courting death? Whoosh! At this moment, another young man in white rushed to the martial arts practice field and ran to Zhang Ren's side. He asked with concern, "Brother, are you okay?" "Zhang Jin?" Qin Feiyang was stunned. The person who came was the staff of the resource hall. Qin Feiyang looked at Zhang Ren and asked, "He's your brother?" Zhang Jin nodded. "Yes, my dear brother." "Thank you." Qin Feiyang sighed. "Don't thank me. Your brother is dead." "What?" Zhang Jin's face changed. He quickly squatted on the ground to check on Zhang Ren. Sure enough, he could no longer feel Zhang Ren's heartbeat and breathing. "Why?" Zhang Jin muttered to himself. His face was pale. His 10 fingers were tightly clenched together. His nails had already sunk into his flesh and blood was flowing. He suddenly turned around, stared at Lu Ziyuan and shouted, "My brother has already admitted defeat. Why did you kill him, trash?" Lu Ziyuan was disdainful. He turned around and walked down the stage with a cold face. Zhang Jin stared at Lu Ziyuan's back. He wanted to pounce and die together with Lu Ziyuan to avenge his brother. But his rationality told him that he could not do that. Because he knew that he was not Lu Ziyuan's opponent. He could not afford to offend Lu Ziyuan. But he was unwilling. Plop. He knelt on the ground and looked helplessly at Yan Nanshan. He repeatedly kowtowed and said, "Elder, I beg you, please uphold justice." Some of the disciples below the stage couldn't help but whisper among themselves. Lu Ziyuan had indeed gone too far this time. But who dared to say anything? Furthermore, there was also a portion of the crowd that was cheering loudly. These people were all Lu Ziyuan's admirers. In their opinion, Zhang Ren deserved it. Otherwise, would Lu Ziyuan kill him for his provocation? Who was to blame for courting death? Elder, I beg you, don't let my big brother die in vain. Zhang Jin was still kowtowing. His forehead was already bleeding, and blood stained the floor. Yan Nanshan's eyes flickered as he turned to look at Lu Ziyuan. Stop right there. What's up? Lu Ziyuan stopped and turned to look at Yan Nanshan impatiently. The rules of the competition have already been made clear. Both parties will stop when the battle is over. Furthermore, earlier, Zhang Ren had already admitted defeat. Yet, you still attacked him to kill him. Therefore, I will disqualify you from the competition. Yan Nanshan shouted. What? Disqualified? There was an uproar in the crowd. However, Zhang Jin was very disappointed. What was the use of being disqualified? Such a punishment was worse than no punishment at all. Qin Feiyang saw through Zhang Jin's thoughts with a single glance. Sigh. He sighed and patted Zhang Jin's shoulder. Elder Yan has his own difficulties. Lu Ziyuan is a member of the Lu family. It's impossible for him to repay the debt with blood. I understand. I've been with Elder Yan in the resource hall for half a year. I know that he's an upright person. I just feel that it's unfair. Why should those with power and influence be allowed to do whatever they want? I can't accept this. Zhang Jin muttered. He picked up Zhang Ren's body and looked at Lu Ziyuan. His eyes were filled with murderous intent. I, Zhang Jin, swear. One day, I'll destroy the Lu family with my own hands. After he finished speaking, he turned around and left in big strides. His back looked extremely miserable. You? Lu Ziyuan smiled in disdain. Don't underestimate anyone. Today, in your eyes, he might not even be comparable to an ant. But one day in the future, he might come to your Lu family. Qin Feiyang said calmly. Lu Ziyuan frowned and looked at Qin Feiyang in disdain. Who do you think you are? At this moment, Yan Nanshan frowned and shouted, Lu Ziyuan, you can leave now. Leave? I'm afraid that's not up to you. Lu Ziyuan sneered and looked fearless. Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows. He even dared to talk back to Yan Nanshan. Why was Lu Ziyuan so confident today? Don't think that you have the right to be arrogant just because you have someone backing you up. If you don't leave now, don't blame me for being rude. Yan Nanshan shouted. Backing? Qin Feiyang was slightly stunned. Who was backing Lu Ziyuan? Sure, I'll see how you're going to be rude to me. Lu Ziyuan crossed his arms and looked at Yan Nanshan playfully. Stubborn. Yan Nanshan was furious. Wait. At this moment, a cold and arrogant voice was heard. Qin Feiyang turned his head and saw the purple-robed youth who was sitting with Lu Yun and Shiming stand up. The purple-robed youth looked at Yan Nanshan and smiled. Elder Yan, fists and feet have no eyes in the competition. It's inevitable that someone will get hurt. Why make a mountain out of a molehill? Qin Feiyang frowned. Deliberately killing someone was making a molehill out of a molehill? Could it be that this person was backing Lu Ziyuan? That's right. If it was a real duel, it's inevitable that someone will get hurt. But Lu Ziyuan was clearly killing someone on purpose. Lu Xingchen, you should know your place. The inner hall sent you here to set a good example so that everyone can learn from you. It's not for you to play favoritism and cover up for your clansmen. Yan Nanshan shouted sternly. Lu Xingchen. Qin Feiyang's eyes lit up. That's right. This person was Lu Xingchen. He had seen him when Ren Wuxuang was communicating with him in the county of Yan. But it had been too long and he couldn't remember clearly. Now that Yan Nanshan reminded him, he immediately remembered. Why was Lu Ziyuan so confident today? It was because he was here. But what surprised Qin Feiyang was that anyone else would have fallen out with Yan Nanshan on the spot after being reprimanded so harshly by him. However, Lu Xingchen did not show the slightest bit of displeasure. This showed that he was a very shrewd person. Elder Yan, you're right. I was out of line just now. How about this? Dong Qing, Elder Lu, Elder Shi and I will vote to decide whether Lu Ziyuan stays or goes. Elder Yan, you don't have any objections, right? Lu Xingchen cupped his hands and smiled. Okay. Yan Nanshan nodded. Although he was the one presiding over this temple's great gathering, the real authority was with Lu Yun and Shi Ming. Lu Xingchen smiled at Yan Nanshan, then turned to Lu Yun and the other two. Let's vote. Those who agree to disqualifying Lu Ziyuan, please raise your hand. I agree. Lu Yun was the first to raise her hand, her face covered in frost. Although Lu Xingchen was a member of the inner sanctum, he was far inferior to Lu Yun in terms of seniority and strength. More importantly, this wasn't the inner sanctum. Lu Xingchen's actions were tantamount to usurping the role of the host. He didn't even put her, the disciplinary elder, in his eyes. Lu Xingchen was still smiling as he looked at Shi Ming and the purple-clothed woman. Shi Ming pondered for a while, then sighed. Everyone makes mistakes. Let Lu Ziyuan continue participating. Lu Yun frowned and looked at Shi Ming with dissatisfaction. Shi Ming pretended not to see. The purple-clothed woman nodded. I also agree that Lu Ziyuan should continue participating. Lu Xingchen looked at Yan Nanshan again and smiled faintly. Elder Yan, I also agree that he should continue participating. I'm not shielding him. I just don't want to waste such a good talent. To be fair, Lu Ziyuan's talent is really not bad. Now, Dong Qing, Elder Shi, and I all agree that the minority should take the majority. You don't have any objections, right? Lu Xingchen added with a smile on his face. Lu Ziyuan was even more pleased with himself as he looked at Yan Nanshan with disdain. Humph. A good competition has been messed up by a few scoundrels. I think there's no need to continue this competition. Lu Yun suddenly stood up and glanced at Lu Xingchen and the others in disgust, then prepared to leave. Pa! But at this moment, the sound of a loud slap could be heard. Qin Feiyang, who had been watching coldly from the sidelines, finally spoke. What Elder Lu said is right. Since when did a scoundrel have the right to criticize the dignified divine sanctum? The divine sanctum is the holy land of cultivation that everyone dreams of. But now, it can't even be fair? Don't you all think that this is a very laughable matter? Qin Feiyang glanced at the crowd in all directions, his eyes full of disdain for the divine sanctum. And at this moment, everyone's eyes were gathered on Qin Feiyang. Some were angry. Some mocked. Some agreed with Qin Feiyang's words. Shi Ming frowned and shouted, How dare you? Do you have the right to speak here? Get out of here right now. What? I can't even speak. Elder Shi, you're the law enforcement elder of the divine sanctum. If you curry favor and side with Lu Ziyuan, the other disciples will be disappointed. Compared to Elder Lu, you're really too weak. Qin Feiyang shook his head and sneered. As if someone stepped on his tail, Shi Ming jumped up and shouted, I told you to get out of here. Didn't you hear me? Lu Yun sneered, Old dog Shi, since you dare to do it, don't be afraid of others talking about it. Shi Ming turned his gaze and stared at Lu Yun. He said coldly, Bitch, what did you say? Aren't you just trying to curry favor with the Lu family? Actually, it's understandable. After all, apart from Murong Jing, Lu Xingchen is the only supreme-grade alchemist in the spiritual state. However, there's no need to go through so much trouble. I'll tell you the most direct and effective way. Resign as the law enforcement elder and leave the divine sanctum. With your strength, the Lu family will definitely take you in. I also heard that the Lu family is now lacking a watchdog.